The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, and this sports show is going to be a good one. It starts right now. Football! That's right, football is happening. There was another preseason game last evening in which the Falcons jumped out to an early lead over the Jets because the Jets were not playing any of their starters. And then Strafolsky, whose actual name is Strevler, came in for the Jets and turned everything around. The Jets get a win over the Falcons. Got a chance to see a little Bob Saleh with some emotion like he was back with the Niners. Looked like he was enjoying his life. That was great. Artie Smith was pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Artie Smith. There was a fourth down. They were about to go for it on the goal line. And the center didn't snap the ball. Everybody else reacted, and Artie Smith went over and started chewing some people out. Mm-hmm. You motherfucker. You got to do what you got to do. And the commentators, all they could talk about last night, Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick, Steve Levy, Laura Rutledge on the sideline, thought they did a good job. All they could talk about is how Artie Smith wants to change the culture down there. Defense coordinator for the Falcons said, I'm changing the daggum culture down here. He said, we've been bottom 20 for the last 15 years for this organization. I'm changing the fucking daggum culture. They quoted daggum in a quote card on ESPN last night, and I loved it. I enjoy the thought of the Falcons only having a 9.9% chance of winning the Super Bowl in some fucking thing. That's a very low thing. It's very low, the lowest percentage in the NFC South. You look around the NFC South. Jameis Winston, is he going to be good or is he not going to be good? That determines the Saints' fate, I guess. Carolina Panthers, Baker Mayfield was just named the starter. Seems like he might be a guy down there. Who knows? The Cleveland Browns had him. They won a couple games, won a playoff game over the Pittsburgh Steelers. First playoff win in like 55 years. Let's kick him the fuck out of town. Yep. Let's bring in a guy that can't play the first 11 games, 12 weeks, whatever the case is. Yeah. Pay him more money than anybody else. So with the Carolina Panthers, with Christian McCaffrey, who's allegedly learning how to play NFL football and not get hit at the end of every single run. He's electrifying. He's exciting. They were 1-9 last year without him. Do quick math there. 4-2, I think. Nope. Would have to be 4-3. 4-3 whenever he was playing. 1-9 when he wasn't playing. Teddy Two Gloves, who was the starting quarterback for the Panthers 2 years ago, he didn't even have Christian McCaffrey on the field for basically like 15 games or 14 games because Christian McCaffrey's so exciting, so electrifying. He just also causes explosive hits every single time he touches the football. This year he's allegedly going to be changing. Will the Carolina Panthers be anything? We don't know. And then obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom fresh off a family vacation. He has come out and said that he was not on a Masked Singer, although he did have a mask on last week. It was a football or a motorcycle helmet as he was riding down the street. Allegedly, that's what he was potentially doing. We don't know if he was riding motorcycles last week. Dangerous. You would think that would be on the internet and somebody would find him if he was riding motorcycles. But nonetheless, Tampa Bay Buccaneers got, they lose Gronk, they lose AB, they lose BA, they lose Ronald Jones, they lose a couple other guys on the team. But everybody's assuming they're going to be great. Everybody's talking about them maybe even making it to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, because Tom Brady, every other year of his career for like the last 15, 20 years, he has won the Super Bowl. So they're just assuming that that's going to happen again. So the Falcons are kind of sitting at the bottom of the NFC South. And I'll tell you, I didn't mind what I saw last night.
No.
And now they're going against twos. They were going against the Jets. It was preseason. Marcus Mariota looked good. Just like Marcus Mariota looked good whenever he came in relief for Derek Carr for the Raiders on that Thursday Night Football game when Derek Carr blew his groin off of his hip. He was back 8 days later to play again, and Marcus Mariota never saw the field again. Took another backup deal. This is the first time we're getting a chance to see him really play since being added as the starter in Tennessee when Ryan Tannehill came into his own. He was a guy with the Titans, though, for a while. Went away, did the backup role. I assume got humbled a bit, learned a bunch. Now he's getting an opportunity down in Atlanta where they're trying to change the program. Will Marcus Mariota be a guy? Kyle Pitts, will he be a guy? None of us know. Calvin Ridley suspended for a year for legalized gambling in Florida. Can't be betting on games, but they seem to be fucked. The Jets, I liked them. I liked everything I saw last night, but the people that are putting them at low odds are putting them at low odds for a reason. And anytime you're talking about rebuilding an entire culture, you just assume that's going to take a long time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it overnight, I guess. You paint over some walls and get a new quarterback that's number one guy, and you can do your thing. But them pushing Matt Ryan out to the Indianapolis Colts and Matt Ryan deciding to leave after the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes ended up as a failure for blank and the Falcons. I don't know when they're going to get back around, but the NFC South is going to be a problem, is what everybody's thinking. I liked what I saw. The Jets didn't look too bad.
Nope.
I think, it's nice to have NFL football to chat about, and that's why the football call sign coming into every single hour is a good one. I like that we decided upon that.
Yeah.
The Talks Table at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor here. One half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. Everybody in the back. And today's show is packed.
Yeah. Huge.
We got Shams Charania in about 23 minutes. Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets have come to an agreement to continue their partnership.
That's nice.
Wow.
I like that.
I like the way that was worded by the Nets, by the way. Come to an agreement to continue their partnership because they're viewing it as a business decision with KD, Trey 5, or whatever the business is that he is. Him sticking around is good business for the Nets. Sure. It's good for Kyrie Irving, who's coming up on a contract year. It's good for everything except for the teams that thought they were maybe in the Kevin Durant. Memphis was allegedly going to be in the game. Allegedly, Boston Celtics were going to be in the game.
Yeah.
Toronto was potentially looking. Phoenix was potentially looking at Kevin Durant. Now it has been officially released that Kevin Durant and the Nets will be kumbaya for another year, even though it was very publicly reported that he said, Steve Nash is fucking other bum with me.
Hate him.
Now, I don't know if Steve Nash and he are going out, having a couple waters or yogas, smoking doobs together, doing whatever they got going on to rebuild their relationship. Let's assume that'll go just fine because they're both players. Players can get through some shit. But good, we'll talk to Shams Charania about how that came to be and how that took place. And if you're watching live at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show, you're seeing 5 books stacked up. What you don't know about this book, everybody knows I'm an avid book reader.
Yeah. Started a book club.
Yeah, I was part of one of the biggest book clubs of all time.
That's right.
I'm an avid, you guys should read books.
Yeah. Change Barnes Nobles.
Yes, with the way they used to set up books because of this show.
That's right.
Where they would place books in Barnes and Nobles in the book community, which is basically the book Mecca, right? All the book readers take their pilgrimage to Barnes and Noble. We had an opportunity to change the way books were placed in the heaven of books, Barnes and Noble.
Well said.
Because of the book club we were a part of. Follow up, I've never read a book in my life. At this point, I'm 35. I should probably hold on. You know what I mean? I should probably just go forever. I don't think you should read 0 books. I don't think you should have too much ADHD. I don't think you should have the ability to just go ahead and not open a single book for your entire life and manage to make it through school somehow without cheating. No big deal. Not that good of a reader. I don't think it's for you. But for me, I've never read a book. I'll tell you what, though. After watching this show, this is a series I would think about contemplate diving into reading for because the person who wrote it, 20-year Navy SEAL.
Wow.
Dog.
Absolute dog. And Chris Pratt, the way that whole thing, it was unbelievable. The Terminal List was amazing. The Terminal List series is award-winning. The author of said Terminal List series, which is 5 books. Terminal List is the first one. Then you got 2, 3, 4, 5, and then here's the first one again, repackaged with Chris Pratt's beautiful face right on top of it.
Sexy cover.
The author, Jack Carr, will be joining us today in the second hour.
Yes.
1:15 Eastern Standard Time, about an hour, 4 minutes, and 28 seconds for those keeping track at home. I can't believe we're getting a chance to chat with him. I watched Terminal List in like 3 sittings, I think, on Amazon. Just like mostly anybody, as soon as you watch one episode, you're hooked. An incredibly well-written, well put together, and a story that I think the world needs to see involving PTSD and the transition of back into life after being warriors, which is a lot of our military going through. Jack Carr is an absolute stallion on the battlefield, but his brain is one of the most talented of all time. This many books. Do you know how many motherfuckers have been killed in these books right here?
Lots.
I mean, there's somebody dead, bad people. Dead. They're all right here, dead. 5 of these books. There's 6 here. These two are the same. But in these books, so many stories are told of great heroism and savagery.
Yeah.
Can't wait to talk to Jack Carr about how he got to this point of writing these books. How are you a 20-year Navy SEAL, still badass, and have the ability to sit down and write how many?
350.
Yeah, 350, 400.
400 pages, yeah. 390. 400 pages. Bang, 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 bang. It takes forever. It takes some people like numerous years to write this. Is that his process? Does he piece these stories together? We shall ask. And I'm assuming that we will dive into other conversation with Jack Carr as well. And then the man fresh off the PUP for the Green Bay Packers, David Bakhtiari. Will join us in the third hour at 2:15 Eastern Standard Time. He'll be live from the Green Bay Packers facility. Let's dive right into there. He comes off PUP. They say they're going to take it easy, go day by day with him, Ty Schmidt. This is massive. I mean, today, 4 p.m., 5 more cuts have to be made for every single team, maybe 6 if you're planning on picking other people up. Teams are getting shaped right now. I don't think we'll really know anybody that gets cut today. Maybe a couple vets that are going to be cap casualties will get released by 4 p.m. today so they can go find another home, with enough time to understand the playbook. But really, I don't think any of these things is going to be quite a stir today. The big stir, though, is Bakhtiari's back there in Green Bay. He looks good. He sounds good. We'll find out today when he's going to play, I guess. Ty, are you going to put his feet to the fire or what?
Well, I don't know if we're going to find out today when he's going to play because it seems like just him coming off the PUP list is really all they're looking for at this point. What is interesting is LaFleur said, I think earlier this week, that starters are going to play in their third preseason game, which I was not expecting. So I wonder if Rodgers will get any run. But again,
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. But just Bakhtiari being off the PUP list, like it is just a sigh of relief because that offensive line is hopefully going to look a lot different come week 1 than it did, 2 weeks ago when they were expecting kind of have their 2 top guys out for, the foreseeable future.
In this week 3, in past, this has been when starters play. It sounds like a lot of teams are saying, hey, we're playing our guys, but there's still teams that aren't. So we have to keep our eye on that whenever we're thinking about gambling this. Trend of week 1, all the overs hit.
Yes.
Not all of them, but you get it. The majority of overs hit.
14-3.
Yeah, 14-3. What was the trend here of preseason week 2 that just finished last night?
Week 2, it was more level as far as over-unders concerned. And then really, it's all about trying to find who's starting and who's not. Like and a lot of these coaches are being kind of cryptic about it, which is really pissing me off. But
me too. It's pissing me off too.
Come on. It's bullshit.
Is it pissing you off?
Pissing me off.
Bullshit.
At some point, we got to take a stand.
Yeah. That's all we didn't
Hey,
find out
coaches!
yesterday.
Right now.
Stop being so vague.
No more of it.
Are we able to bet on these games?
Yeah, I think so.
Can we get a heads up, Bob Saleh?
Please.
I mean, what's the deal? You're right. It's pissing me off too.
He said he didn't know. He had to get a feeling on it, and then he didn't come out till like 4 o'clock yesterday. That he wasn't playing stars, and then the line jumped, and you were on the right side because you knew Strafolsky was going to do what he was going to do in the fucking fourth quarter, but it wasn't a big deal.
I don't think anybody knew that his name was Strevler. First of all, I found that out last night while watching the game. I saw a Tone tweet, Strafolsky's dealing, and I'm watching the game, and I ain't seen a single Strafolsky step on the field. And then they zoomed on the back of the quarterback, and it said Strevler, and I actually texted the group. Yeah. I said, is Strevler the guy that I've been calling Strafolsky for the last year? And everybody confirmed that was the case. We were nowhere near this.
CFL champion.
Champion.
Yeah, him holding the Great Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute.
Best number 15 quarterback the Jets have ever had.
No, Tim Tebow would be that one, but we can move on.
I don't know.
I honestly... I am so sorry to Strevler. We weren't even close to his name.
No, we weren't.
Strafolsky isn't even close. I don't know how I dove into Strafolsky to start saying it and screaming it. Strevler deserves respect, and I think last night he walked out in the middle of that game that didn't matter and said, you know what, I'm going to earn my respect today here in America. I already have a Grey Cup. Yeah. I already played well for the Cardinals, but here I am, preseason game, doing my thing. What's that?
He may have sent Mike White to sell insurance last night.
Yeah. Well, Mike White will get signed by somebody after that run he had last year.
It was unbelievable.
He threw for 400 yards in his debut. Do you know Dan Orlovsky ran out of the end zone in his NFL debut?
No, not till they said that yesterday on the broadcast. I had no idea that was the first game.
Yeah, that got brought up in the broadcast whenever Mike White came into the game and was doing something. They talked about his debut against the Bengals, 400 and some yards, however many touchdowns. And then they said, hey, Dan, is that all your debut started with 400? And he said no. And he said, how about a 3 at the beginning of that? No. How about a 2? No. How about a 1? 1. And then he said, also, I think it'll be remembered forever of about a run I made or something like that. And then there was a big pop in the booth, as there should have been, by the way. Didn't sound like this was a planned conversation. I think they knew they were going to get to that. I don't think Louis Riddick or Levy knew that it was in first game. Big pop. That was your first game?
Yeah.
First ever NFL game, Dan Orlovsky chased by Jared Allen, 11 yards from the end zone line, right across the back. He said he got to the sideline, and Calvin Johnson laughed in his face.
Unreal.
And he said that kind of put his whole thing to bed. I think they did a good job last night. But yeah, Mike White, I think he'll get signed strictly off of how he performed last year in those 2 games. Because you look around, there's a lot of fucking terrible quarterbacks playing football in this preseason football games.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of bad quarterbacking right now happening out there.
Well, and with Strafolsky, I mean,
Stravler.
But
his name's Stravler.
It's a term of endearment. It's not like we're throwing shade at this guy, and he almost he plays like a Strafolsky. He doesn't really.
I think
play
that's
like,
why I called him.
Absolutely,
Strafolsky.
you see him running, you see the STR, and it's like, oh, this guy's last name's got to be Strafolsky. That's how he plays. He's fucking running through people. He's putting seams right into a shoebox. I mean, he looked pretty good last night.
House and beer.
House and what?
Sounds like a Strafolsky.
Sounds like a
He is.
Strafolsky to me. It's a term of endearment. It's not, you're not shitting on this guy by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't think so either. That's like Dougie.
Yeah, exactly.
Bingo.
Dougie Mills. D. Mills, it said. We're obviously, if you're going to put that out there, we are going to have to guess what we think would be a good name. If we were his parents, as he was coming into Earth, what would we D-name him? Dougie was what we want with him because he was, hey, Dougie was moving.
Exactly.
We've got nicknames for all the guys we care about.
Go on. Go on.
Dougie,
Bingo.
fucking Raj.
Oh, that's our nickname. That's our
Yep. Well said.
Seven.
Sure.
Seven, of course.
McCorkle.
Sure.
That's right. I mean, we got all the nicknames for the guys we care about.
Matty Ice.
I just think Strafolsky deserves a little. I mean, you're right. We do call him Matty Ice.
Yeah.
Footsteps.
Footsteps Flacco.
How'd he look? How's he doing? Is he playing?
So fucking good.
His hair, hard to say this, has never looked better.
Well, it's like Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
A couple whites that have found a barber that really understood the calyx in their hair and how their hair flowed. I think Flacco did the same thing. I
Because
think
he went from Bert to what he looks like now, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also got $100 million, I guess.
True.
Everybody
Perfect
says that
touch of
helps.
gray. It's unbelievable.
Hey, my hair's turning white slowly, like as we talk about it. Last week, I show up at SmackDown in Canada, go through customs, do the whole thing, learn French.
No big deal.
Landed, get to the arena.
What's up?
And Michael goes, "Did you dye your hair?" I'm like, "No, the dyeing hair days are long gone, Cole." He's like, "It looks really light today." And then I looked in the mirror and I was like, "There is a lot of white hair there right now." I mean, this thing, I think I'm going to be Bob Barker white.
Oh,
Here
that
we
would be
go.
awesome.
So pumped.
Struck by lightning.
Do you know how hard I was trying to dye my hair to get to that color in like high school and college? Every picture you see of me with dyed hair, I was trying to get the Bob Barker white. Now there's a chance that I'm just staring it down full time, and I'm fucking pumped about it. Like I am legitimately pumped up. I think it's coming like a year. I think a year or two, you're gonna see me as fucking Bob Barker out there.
Oh, that would be sick. If it's silky too, it'll be silky
Oh,
white. I
Game
mean,
changer.
Dude, I'm hopping in a tanning bed every day.
Have to.
You are gonna see this hair glow on these lights at the Thunderdome whenever
you
we
look
move
like a
it.
Targaryen.
Oh, my
Put it into
God.
a
Yeah.
ponytail.
Truly.
Oh man! By the way, House of the Dragon actually good.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
A lot of people watched it.
Yeah.
9.9 million, they said. That's a lot of people. How can they track? All these numbers are bullshit.
HBO Max. Can they track how many people are like with Hard Knocks? Can they track with?
Can they track on like Hulu?
You would.
I don't-
You would
does
think
it air on
HBO
Hulu?
Max is a lot easier to track than cable.
Did you see
Fucking-
that
Yeah.
video?
Definitely on Hulu. Definitely on YouTube TV.
Really?
Definitely on Comcast.
Yes,
Definitely on DirecTV.
I thought Hulu just had live sports, not HBO.
Hulu has an entire lineup of channels.
Baker told you that. That's why you listen to him, because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
It's Dame Dollar.
What's your problem? Why are you putting over Baker so hard? Just because you hate Cleveland?
Baker, I've always loved
He
Baker.
looks good.
looks
Slinging
great.
around.
This is
guys,
disgusting.
you
Is this
guys.
what's happening in Pittsburgh? Is this the email all the injuries are sending
are you
around?
talking about?
Hey, listen, we like Baker now. Remember, the better Baker does, the worse Cleveland looks. Is that what you guys are? Is this what we have all started doing
It's
here?
unbelievable.
You can take any.
Just say that we took
inference you
him
want
off of the terminal list.
Speaking of, Jack Carr will be joining us today.
Oh yeah,
The man who wrote Terminal List.
That's a new cover?
This is Chris Pratt. This is not Jack Carr.
looks like him though.
I don't know if either of them
Not
would
sure.
take that as a compliment or a slight, but
I got-
nonetheless,
I got questions.
me too. Terminal List.
Who doesn't?
I met this guy. I didn't meet him, actually. I sat next to this guy at a UFC event when Izzy came out to the Undertaker's music and won,
Right.
but it wasn't that electrifying. I mean, it was kind of a slow fight.
I wish terminal list came out before that.
So I could have known who Chris Pratt was.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
Jurassic
I agree.
Well,
yeah,
Jurassic World was
because I saw the guy sitting 2 seats down as Jurassic World Dominion guy who was telling
completely different.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, you buried him.
I had to.
Yeah,
What
that
do you
movie
fucking
sucked.
Hey, now that I know, my guy Chris Pratt,
Told you it wasn't his
he
fault.
hated Jurassic World Dominion too.
Yeah.
That's
Probably
right.
did.
I'll ask Jack Carr if, after watching Jurassic World Dominion, did he have second thoughts about Chris Pratt? Because I'll tell you, 2 different humans in my eyes. Jurassic World Dominion, Chris Pratt. All right, dude. Terminalist Chris Pratt. All right, dude. Yeah, this guy. I want him in everything. I want Chris Pratt in everything. After Jurassic World Dominion, I was embarrassed for the guy. I was like, this guy was homeless, right, at one point.
Some Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse writing.
What's that?
It was some Mickey Mouse writing.
I think it was editing. It was kind of like what happened in the Little
That too.
People,
Big
World.
Planet.
Downsizing.
downsizing. There it is. What are you guys talking about?
Well,
Little Big, Big
Big-
World
Yeah, it was
was.
a great TV show.
That was not edited either. That was
Shout out
reality.
Roll-Off Farms.
No, just-
Matt Roll-Off.
I was talking about the downsized people.
Sure.
Nobody saw it except for you and Z.
Well, there's a reason. That show was terrible.
They accidentally legit cut a piece of the movie out.
I think so.
It's
Just like
insane.
Jurassic World Dominion.
They did.
That probably happened with Jurassic World Dominion like 6 different times.
Too much time on her hands.
Maybe.
That's what I think. Yeah, because there'd just be things would happen and be like, oh, okay, they all just ended up in the same place in this 15,000
Makes no
acre.
COVID,
Okay.
COVID and Fouch ruined that movie.
Oh,
Well, Fauci's retired.
Yeah.
That movie just
Jesus,
sucked.
Tony.
You're dancing on this guy's retirement
Yeah.
announcement. I saw the interview.
Well, him and
Seems like
Papa,
Fauci's
People
kind
were
of.
dancing.
He's ready.
Fauci's kind of became heel.
him and Papa John could go to the Italian island of misfit toys and fucking hang out together.
All right.
Wow,
Okay.
Papa.
All right, let's talk about
And
NFL
Cuomo.
news.
Careful.
Let's talk about
Papa.
NFL news. All right, Diggs just sent news into the group text and with all capital letters, and we obviously can't talk about that, Tony. Middle of the show.
What?
Middle of the show sends
Come
in
on,
all
Tony.
capital letters. Look at the way look at the text he sends with
Yeah,
that.
I saw it.
Yeah,
I
we're
saw it.
forced to look at
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I mean, how am I supposed to run a show?
no.
What an
That's a
asshole.
lot.
Why
That's a
can't
lot.
we talk about that?
Can't talk about it. There's no reason to do that because that could all come back around. We got to remember
Good,
that.
sure.
Yeah. That's kind of like whenever people were dancing on the COVID grave, hitting Tennessee Titans against Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember that? They're like,
Titans.
oh, these Tennessee Titans aren't taking it serious. These guys are terrible. And then what? 2 weeks later, boom, this team's got it. Bang, that team, bang, bang, bang. We don't need to do that. Just know something came out that was very good news for a partner of ours.
Right.
Let's move along here. Jesse Bates. Safety for the Cincinnati Bengals, who I think said hello to the world last season. I don't know how many years, I guess 4 years he's been in the NFL, maybe longer
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
He's going into a contract year. His contract was up. He was holding out because they franchise tagged him. He made a lot of plays for that Bengals defense last year. It was noticeable that Jesse Bates was the guy for the Cincinnati Bengals defense. I think numerous times I'd come into this studio and say, hey, that Bates dude's a fucking guy. Ball hawk. Seems to make great plays and instinctually feels like his football IQ's there. And the Cincinnati Bengals, who have an indoor practice facility being built,
Yep.
expansion to their stadium being built, and sponsorship to their stadium being built, running their team like a business for the first time ever in the history of their existence after their team made it to the Super Bowl. But in doing so, they had to practice in between lacrosse team practices at the University of Cincinnati in 2022. That was happening.
Yep.
So the Bengals are becoming this full operation of the 21st century, and it's great news for everybody. It's great news for the Houday Nation.
Yeah.
It's great news for the team. It's great news for the players, for the coaches, for literally everybody. And Jesse Bates' deal being up and him looking for a new contract might have been 1 year too early. I think 1 year from now, they might have a little bit more coin, might have a little bit more money to spend. I assume that's what they're telling him. They franchise tag him. He didn't want to sign it. He wanted long-term. He wanted a little bit of comfort on what his future looked like so he didn't have to jeopardize his future earnings with every single play, both in practice and in games, which is what the franchise tag is kind of doing if you play in a position that is physically tasking. He ends up getting back in the building, signs a tender. He's back and running. I assume nobody will talk about this till next year whenever he's a free agent again.
Yeah, definitely. And what Joe Burrow said about him, too, like you, Antoine Bethea, and D-Butt were kind of talking about it last week, like who he is in the locker room, it sounds like, is even more important.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, everyone loves him, and he also, is an absolute dog on the football
Has
field.
started every single game since his rookie year.
Where's he from? Where'd he go to school?
Wake Forest, I believe.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, Demon Deacon.
Yeah, he's down there in the
about
woods.
He's from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, he's an Indiana guy.
Oh, no way.
I didn't know that. How about that? Hey, dog.
Dog.
Well, Indiana's got some dogs.
Just like Hagerstown, by the way.
That's right.
Little League World Series teams taking on the Pennsylvania squad today.
Yeah.
Holdiesburg, congrats. Have a good one. Never been. Nobody knows. Never been to Hagerstown either. I think it's only a town of like 1,100 people. These kids that are representing Indiana in this little League World Series are fucking ball players.
They got some
I
tanks.
assume Hagerstown's a farm town.
I think so.
Beefy sons.
The kids look like it.
Yeah, there's some big
Oh, yeah.
farm boys out there.
That's right.
They're throwing gas. I don't know who was pitching. The dude throwing like 73 or 74.
Yeah, 73, 75. MLB equivalent of 100 miles an hour.
Hey, this Hagerstown team in Indiana, look out. The boys are swinging bats well, and they got a pitcher.
Yeah.
Now, they're big farm boys that you're looking out there, and don't get it twisted. Indiana is not just good at Little League Baseball either.
No.
We got the Gridiron Gang here, too.
Yeah.
Robert Mathis's under 12 tackle football team. Going to be the best in the country in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Number 9 in the country right
Unreal.
now.
I didn't
Indiana's fucking cooking right now. Everybody needs to be on the lookout of the Hoosiers playing sports because they're beating asses. And these Hagerstown kids are doing it on ESPN right now.
Kids have like travel all-star football now.
Yeah, full tackle too. By the way, just learned about this yesterday.
So it's like AAU football.
Exactly.
Yes.
Pretty much.
How sweet is that?
Interesting.
So cool.
Bunch of Indiana kids. I guess they're going out to California next week to play in a tournament, and they're like supposed to fucking win. And I'm like, Robert, are these Indiana kids or are you guys plucking kids? And he's like, all Indiana kids. I'm like, let's go, boys.
That's a game changer.
Let's go,
If Robert's
boys.
teaching these boys fucking pass rushing.
Well, that's what he said. Yeah, he said I do have guys hitting like chop block spins on these 12-year-old.
Dip and rip.
There's 12-year-old offensive linemen like doing a set like this.
Stunts.
Yeah, I mean a full thing.
Probably
Good luck.
playing All-Stars kids team.
Well, that's the thing. Those are two different styles of football. There's a little bit of clashing styles.
Yeah.
You know, speed off the edge versus ground and pound.
Yeah,
But
careful.
if All-Stars kids want to come, mix it up with the Indiana kids, they better strap it up a little bit tighter, though. Just because they got flash off the edge doesn't mean the dogs in the middle aren't hunting, okay? Just like this Hagerstown team. They can pitch, but those metal bats are fucking clanging and banging all the time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go, Hagerstown boys.
Not Indiana on the up and up. Holy
It does
hell.
feel like it.
Yeah.
Downtown's shithole
Yeah.
still.
It's a
Yeah,
dump.
absolutely.
Highways are a
everywhere.
fucking joke.
Uh-huh.
But they'll be better
Thanks,
3-5
Offset.
years. I don't know. Highways
Maybe.
aren't his fault.
Maybe 3-5 years.
So how come and we got Shams join us in 2 minutes, so this is a good 2-minute pastime conversation before we have to dive into anything. I was in Montreal,
Yep.
Sure.
a lot of construction.
Sure.
Indianapolis, a lot of construction.
And
Right.
the French created it.
Construction.
Construction?
I believe so.
Well, I believe it's construction.
But that was
It was
Jesus.
the Romans, yeah.
Yeah, what, construction. What else did the Romans do? Please tell us.
They were hired to kill Jesus.
All right.
Yeah, by the Italians.
No.
Something to
No,
think about.
they are the Italians, the Romans.
Don't be a.
Hired by each other.
No, I think they were high. Nonetheless, they did the
Italy
killing.
killed Jesus, God damn it.
Yep. Pontius Pilate was from a modern day area, I believe, known as Jordan.
Oh, look at this.
No.
Okay.
Pointing the finger.
Were you there?
No.
Wow, jeez Louise. Anyways, why is everybody doing construction now? Did we not have 2 years of nothing happening where construction could have taken place?
That's what I'm wondering. Because those guys were not out there. I mean, we were coming in
could
every
be.
single day. Like this highway is going
Impossible.
Yeah, and it's going to be under construction for the next 10 years. Like I mean, little pieces are getting done, but we're going to have the same bottleneck that we have every fucking day for the next 10 years.
I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there was a disease that was killing one person per every 6 countries on the world.
Right.
So,
What disease? What disease are you talking
so you
about?
gotta be out there doing construction.
What are you
okay?
talking about?
This guy's
Now, hey,
problematic
now
today.
to be clear, today is the first day, I think, and Bill might be able to correct me here. YouTube has lifted, okay, the warning that goes on every video in which somebody wearing a cowboy hat normally would say that mask didn't work.
Yep.
I didn't say that.
Well, I
Tony.
mean, there was this new thing was lifted, I guess, on that. Whatever the case, the opinions of Tone Diggs do not reflect that of his peers or his employer.
Right.
No.
So do not put that up. We don't need that. But the numbers, we'll look back on the numbers and wonder a lot of things, I will say. But the construction, you're being short-sighted. You don't understand 10 years from now it's going to be so much better. It's going to be...
Well, I might not be here in 10 years.
yeah,
so
it's going to
fucking
be
get
euphoria.
it done next month.
It's going to be pure euphoria in 10 years from now with how good these highways
That's
are.
bullshit. You know who else is going to get to enjoy it is the tens of 20s of people that are dying every single day in these crashes on the highways because it's such a goddamn joke. It's a gridlock. It's a bottleneck. It shouldn't take 45 minutes for us to get home from the office.
So it
shouldn't happen.
It is awesome though because the bottleneck does cause a lot of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But then the accidents that are happening are also causing traffic.
Right.
So the bottleneck actually gets bottlenecked.
It does.
It's amazing. It's an
Bottleneck
unbelievable
turns
thing.
into a gridlock.
Yeah. Anyways, why everybody's doing it? I think everybody's under construction right now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that everybody's trying to get better. I think there was probably some bill passed, if I had to guess. That's why everybody's spending money on it. But it has not been enjoyable, I don't think, for travel in any city right now. So we just got to, hey, we got to grit and bear it for the next generation.
You're right. You're right.
All right? Be a hero.
You're right.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to do
Like-
construction.
Like fucking
Jack
James
Carr
Reese.
served his country for 20 fucking
Thank you,
years.
Jack.
He did.
All right. By the way, I think he's from Canada. So he served our country for 20. He's not from Canada. Okay, so I was alive immediately upon us going on the air. Okay, can't have that.
Who said that?
Born in
Who said
Canada.
he was
That.
from Canada?
Can't have that.
He was born in Canada. Yeah, that's what his Wikipedia says.
So that's not true. Nick is shaking his head. No, can't have that. Anyways, this guy served his country for 20 years. Okay, our country. We can suck it up for the next decade of just not being able to get anywhere. Okay?
I agree, but we should at least fucking get it done for him because he did do it for 20 years. And guess what? He's not happy about it either.
If Jack Carr is sitting in this traffic down here,
Yeah.
he is saying, what the fuck did I do
Exactly.
20 years for this place?
Right.
Joining us now, the insider for the insiders of the association, a man who has won every trade deadline, every draft night that the NBA has had for like the last 3-5 years on having scoops and inside information. He's our go-to whenever we need to know what the fuck's going on in the NBA from the Athletic and the Stadium Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Sham Sharonia. What's up, dude?
Pat, you know what I want? I want those chicken wings that you were enjoying
Bro.
at the Colts game. That's
Listen-
what I need.
Listen, they were delicious.
That's what I need.
They were delicious at the time. I was going in there. They were breaded and like, what's it called when it's super moist?
Soggy.
Soggy. They were breaded and a little soggy. Had a good flavor to them.
Not good if they're soggy though. I like them crisp. So actually, now you're just giving me the scouting report. Now I'm just turned off.
Shams, I do believe everybody likes them crisp, but the breading was up to my knuckles on that thing. And, you know, it was bad timing, but I had time of my life down there. I had great seats. You know, Jim Irsay quote tweeted it. I paid for them. But I did have great seats in that place. The boys got to go. The significant others got to go. Shams, we need you to come to a game at some point. And we're not going to order those wings ever again, but we'll get you some sort of food in there for sure.
At some point, we'll make that happen. Right here. You heard it here on the McAfee Show.
Okay,
Wow.
Shams.
Hell yeah.
We got 20 tickets a game or whatever. We'll see if we can go ahead and make sure we get one for you. Let's dive in. Kevin Durant's back with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets made an official announcement that said the partnership shall continue. Hilarious that they're viewing it as a business relationship. Is that ultimately what happened here in the end? How did Kevin Durant get back with the Nets' good graces? And how is Steve Nash, GM, and Kevin Durant now that we know publicly that there was an ultimatum made?
I think that's the best way to describe it, Pat, actually, a business relationship in terms of like both sides looked around. And I wrote a piece yesterday that had all the offers, everything laid out, all the interest. And there was no one that was stepping up to the capacity that the Nets had. The Nets had a crazy asking price. They wanted an all-star. They wanted multiple high-level rotation players. They wanted all your draft picks. And that asking price just was not met. The Boston Celtics put forth an offer. The Grizzlies made an offer. The Atlanta Hawks made an offer. Every team, Phoenix, Golden State, it goes on and on. Teams called, inquired, but no one was willing to meet that asking price. And from everything I've been told, that the outcome of that meeting yesterday between Kevin Durant, his business manager Rich Kleiman, everyone from the Nets, Sean Marks, Steve Nash, ownership, they all agreed that it's in everyone's best interest, both sides, to move on. No trade was happening. It was clear. And so for Kevin Durant, if he really wanted to get out of Brooklyn, this was going to get even uglier. You had training camp coming up in 1 month, and that was really going to be the point. Kevin Durant was going to have to decide, do I show up to camp? Do I show up disgruntled? Or do I just hold out? And before it even got to that, Kevin Durant met and decided that he was going to stay a Brooklyn Net. I think both sides looked around from everything I've been told, and the outcome of that meeting was this is in everyone's best interest. And being a Net gives Kevin Durant the best opportunity to win a championship. I think when he looked around, the Celtics, the Heat, the Suns, all these teams would have had to gut their roster to go get KD. And I believe he looked at it and said, this is the only route that I have, the route of least resistance. And I do believe that feelings were aired out in that meeting yesterday. I don't know exactly how long that meeting went, but anytime you have a meeting with all those stakeholders, and this is the first time they met since the Nets regular season and season ended on April 23rd. This meeting probably should have happened months ago, guys. Like, this should have happened right after the season ended. when you know Kevin Durant was displeased with how the year went. There were a lot of issues, underlying concerns that happened after you finished that year. This meeting should have happened then. It takes 2.5 months to happen, and I guess better late than never.
Hold on. So that meeting that happened at Travis Scott's concert, that was probably the thing that kind of set this whole thing up. And where did this one happen at? At the Nets building, or was it somewhere cool, like the Hamptons or something like that?
So the meeting with Joe Tsai that happened in London, I don't believe it was at, I don't know if it was at Travis Scott's concert. It could have been. I don't know where it was at. It was in London.
It was at the OT Arena. Yeah. He did the OT Arena. It was a hell of a show. Remember him and James Harden?
Yeah, popping bottles.
Yeah, they were having a good time. That's probably where it happened.
I will say this, Pat. I believe in life, you have to go through hard conversations. And I think that the elephant in the room was that it's clear both sides, there was some level of friction going on once the season ended. And everything needed to be aired out. Kevin Durant went and met with Joe Tsai, aired out his feelings, his grievances toward, in that situation, the GM and the head coach. But those feelings are ones that you have to direct at those people, and feelings that you have to make sure that you have a conversation. And finally, they were able to have this conversation yesterday in Los Angeles, where they were able to air everything out. And once you air all that out, every side needs to move on and needs to be better. Steve Nash needs to be a better coach. Sean Marks needs to be better at his job. Kevin Durant needs to be better at his job. Everyone in that room, I believe the only way you move forward in a better, positive way, that's how life goes. You need to all get on the same page, air out your feelings, be able to speak and have those kinds of conversations. And to my knowledge, those conversations finally were had yesterday in LA.
Okay, so obviously the Nets are happy. Kevin Durant is happy with this. Yes, you think?
I mean, listen, he asked for a trade. In a perfect world, he would have been traded. The world is not perfect. Life isn't perfect. And at the end of the day, he had 4 years, Pat, and almost $200 million left on his contract. If you're going to be traded, having 4 years and that amount of money on your deal is not going to give you much leverage to get traded. And so I do believe a part of this was Kevin Durant realizing that there was not a deal to be had out there. The asking price was just so sky high that a deal was really...
Shams, the Nets control what the asking price is, right? I mean...
100%. And listen, purposefully or not, they set that asking price to the moon.
Yes,
so,
they didn't want anybody to meet their demands. This is like when somebody makes me an offer to do something and they know I'm not going to take it. It's like, hey, we just want to let you know we did make an offer and we do appreciate you, but you'll end up losing $700,000 a year if you end up taking this deal. It's like, okay, I get what we're doing here. I appreciate you. Let's move on. Is that what the Nets were doing? They were never planning on moving on. They're making that's why they made the asking price so absurd, do you think?
I do believe that teams around the league that discussed deals with the Nets came away, at least in the last few days and the last few weeks, believing that they don't really have much interest in dealing Kevin Durant unless the asking price is.
So Kevin Durant could have went in there pissed off with Rich Kleinman then.
Yeah.
You guys are making this almost impossible. So there has to be some sort of good vibes. If they went in there and were like, okay, you guys have made it impossible for me to get traded. I want to be traded. I would like to hear how things are going. That is an interesting, psychological dilemma there on how it's going to pan out if they start losing again,
And that's one thing to keep an eye on is if this team loses this upcoming year, isn't playing up to standard, what happens with Kevin Durant then? What happens with this entire roster then? But I think, you look at the statement that the Nets put out and everything that transpired after the meeting, I do believe the interest is genuine right now in running this back at least for one more year and seeing how this team plays. I don't think the Nets would ever come out and admit this is the year. This is where everything is dependent on. But if this team doesn't play up to capacity and standards, what happens? I think that's a fair question to ask. Only time will tell. But yeah, you're right. This meeting could have gone a couple different ways. This could have been Kevin Durant putting his foot down even more. But I think the more he looked at the situation and the scenarios that were on the board, the Celtics and the Raptors, all these teams would have had to come up so much, Pat, to get a deal done.
There was never a deal to be done. It almost would have been
impossible.
Yeah, they were making an impossible ask, which I think in the end ends up working out for them. I'm happy to see it the owner's side, right?
Yeah.
Tsai, he was like, hey, listen, let's figure this out. We can get him back on our side. We talked before the Travis Scott thing. He said this.
At the Travis Scott thing, never know. Might have been.
Hey, they might have had their own
Intermission. Never know.
You never know. So you do know. Then that's what it sounds like. So it did happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, thank you.
Shams.
Put it on the ticker. Shams alludes to
Yep.
first meeting between Nets owner and Kevin Durant happening. You think, was James Harden in that meeting, or did he say, no, yeah, he said, no, I'm out of there?
That would have been hilarious, though. James Harden in that meeting with Josiah after asking out of Brooklyn and leaving Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Well, I think you think he's just hanging out outside the room that
Yeah,
they're doing?
no
I don't
chance.
think so.
No
It seems
chance.
like they're in there. Anyways, congrats to all parties. Moving on. Bygones be bygones. Hope they win. The boys have a couple questions for you. Is that okay, Shams? I know you got to be out of here in like a minute or so.
Let's do it.
Hey, who are the Angel Naruto runners over your both shoulders there?
Those are like, I don't know. These are like Telly Awards. You ever heard of Telly
Naruto,
Awards?
dude. No.
Damn.
Look it up, I guess.
Hey, congrats.
Wow,
Let's go,
two-time Telly
Shams.
winner.
Telly UK.
Hey, these guys won 2
I'll take
Tellys.
it. I'll take it.
that
Does
UK?
anyone know about Telly Awards?
Hey,
Someone
put
give me a
on the
breakdown?
telly.
Yeah, I think is that UK award?
This guy won a telly. Is this on your coverage of Boa?
No. I think it was
Cruz?
one of my AT&T, one of the AT&T things. that we
Telly.
done.
The Telly Awards.
Sweet.
Winners announced. See winners gallery. Look at you
See,
winning.
I'm learning something right now. This is awesome. This
Did
is
you have to
great
give a
for me.
speech for this or no?
Shout out to Stadium on the Telly Awards.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out Stadium.
Get to the Telly
Tellies.
Awards. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Shams, it feels like the biggest loser of this entire thing is the Lakers because they're not going to get Kyrie Irving now. Are they just going to run it back with Russ, or are they going to try and move him and add another piece?
Yeah, so we've talked about it. Now, if you go on YouTube and you search up our coverage, on the PMS show, or PMS, I guess, of Kyrie Irving and the Lakers, we told you a month ago that it was not going to happen,
Hell yeah.
and so it's not happening. All you have to do is watch PMS to know that. But
Atta baby.
I think as of right now,
us.
the Lakers are open to anything that'll make their team better. And so if there's a deal out there, if they can go get multiple different players that makes the team better. I would keep an eye on Patrick Beverly, Bojan Bogdanovic in Utah.
Bogdanovich?
That'd be a get.
Those are the types of guys that if you can go get 2-3 rotation players, plug onto your team, kind of get better with the sum of parts, I think those are the types of moves I think you're going to see the Lakers try to make. I don't think that they're done necessarily. I think they're going to still try to get this team better. But yes, Kyrie Irving to the Lakers for now is not a thing.
For now. He's talking about
For now, you never know what happens in season, Pat. What I've learned in the NBA, we saw what happened today. Things are always fluid.
That's right.
You never know what happens next summer. But right now, Kyrie Irving is a net, Kevin Durant's a net, Ben Simmons is a net,
What?
Joe Harris is a net,
What?
and they're going to run that thing back.
And that's why you get Naruto Tellys all the time, because of how great you are. We appreciate you so much, Shams. Last question from me before we let you go. Zion playing. We're doing well. We're playing
I
basketball.
saw something about the Zion 2s coming out. I mean, shout out to the Zion 2s, but he will be playing.
yeah.
Pat, you know what I'm interested in?
What?
The Nets open the season at Barclays Center against the Pelicans on October 19th.
Zion's
That
going
is-
from the fucking foul line, dude.
But that is not a national TV game. It's
What?
interesting.
What's your
the
wrong
Nets
with
have
your
no
league?
national TV games on opening week of the NBA season. I don't know. Was it the schedule makers preparing for Kevin Durant to be traded? Now Kevin Durant's back. Does that game? I'm just saying. I think we can start that push on the show.
Yeah.
Pelicans Nets national TV October 19th.
Need it. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Steve Nash, Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Taking on Zion, CJ, and the boys.
Brandon Ingram.
Here's the Zion 2s, by the way. Oh! Give me 10 of them.
I know that will be on display at your guys' studios soon.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I can't wait to see them.
In the past, they have sent me the Zions, before
Yeah,
they
sure. First ones were
I've
sweet.
gotten off the list, I guess. I'll still buy them. They know it. I'm more current. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Stronic. Congrats, buddy.
Hey,
Okay, Kevin Durant and the Nets continue their business agreement.
let's go. Gotta love that.
4 years, $200 million left. And they were saying the talking points of that were obviously that nobody was willing to trade enough to get Kevin Durant. It's like, well, one party's setting what is needed to be traded. So Kevin Durant could have walked in that office and been like, guns a-blazing.
Accept that deal.
You guys are fucking me over. These people offer this, and this. You're getting my contract off here and out of here. And I'm going to have a pulled hammy just like James Harden had last year if we don't do this. But instead it was, hey, let's let bygones be bygones. Steve, I fucking buried you. Let me tell you why.
You stink.
You're a little baby back bitch last year. And then you, Kaz, I don't know, what's the GM's name?
Sean Marks.
You're a mark, dude. All right? All right? I don't want to talk about I said that to this guy. So if we can get out of here with you two explaining why I should have any faith that you guys will be able to win a title together, let's go ahead and get a deal. And Steve Nash goes, KD, guy, what are we thinking? Come on. I had an interview with Steve Nash. He was awesome.
He was.
Yeah,
He is
good
awesome.
dude.
He is like an awesome guy.
I don't like what KD's doing to his name.
KD's name?
No, Steve Nash's name.
Well,
What are you talking? He already did it. It's over. He actually
Done deal.
He
Yeah,
just
I
he
don't
might
like
win
what he
an,
did to it.
he might win a title for Steve.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, the Kevin Durant.
yeah, Steve Nash was getting dragged too for old TikTok videos. I feel like when all this was coming out.
Why? Because he was
More so-
dancing with his daughter.
Yeah,
he's a
more
good
so than
dad.
Good guy.
KD.
He's never home. He's a basketball coach.
No, I agree. I'm saying on the internet, people were dragging him for it. I didn't. I'm just saying.
It was just one of those things that was
It was
kind of
talking-
added in
yeah, it's
when
talking
everybody was
point.
burying him. It was like, look what he's doing.
Exactly.
And then he's in his suit wearing no shoes, crossing people up on
Yep.
social media, influencer
There's a
commercials.
photo of him hugging KD after he hit a shot against the Bucks, like holding on to him for dear life. It looks like too.
Oh, so celebrating with KD is not something. I mean,
Yeah, but
what
again,
is the
just
deal?
another thing that he was getting dragged for on the internet with this whole entire.
I bet you Steve Nash has also told KD, hey, I didn't like the way last year went either. If you mean anything. I fucking thought I had a lot more players than I had. James Harden was supposed to be here. Guess what? He got hurt. He's not here. Kyrie Irving was allowed to play everywhere else but in our own building. Other people that weren't vaxxed weren't allowed to play in our building either. So I want to let you know, I was blindsided just as much as fucking you were. I wouldn't have signed up for this. I was with Golden State. I would have another fucking ring.
Yeah.
What are we even talking about? Now, if you want to ask Mr. Marks here, you can go ahead and fucking talk to him. Marks, please explain yourself. And then Steve and KD now are on each other's side. And even the ownership is sitting back there. I'm like, hey, good luck pitching for your job right now. Mark's like, well, the New York City Council, until the Yankees came around, we kind of that's probably because the fact that everybody was upset was confusing to me because it seemed like last season they were fucked. Like Kyrie Irving's not playing for what 60% of their games. You can't just say 50 because he wasn't even with the team for the first half of the season's away games, right?
right.
So like
Toronto.
75% of the games or whatever. I mean, it's just like I don't even know if they ever had a team. And then James Harden's like, get me the fuck out of here. It's
Trade
like,
James Harden for a guy who doesn't play at all.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Steve Nash. Like, have you ever seen a guy do it? Like, you've been around
Trade
basketball.
one of
your
the best players for the NBA for a fucking guy who isn't gonna. Is he ever gonna play?
Imagine
Ben
Steve
Simmons
Nash
on that
going,
team?
I've been around basketball forever. KD, you have too. We've never met a fucking guy like Ben Simmons. I mean, we all thought he was going to play. He didn't. I mean, what do you want
me to do?
What do you want me to do, dude? I was trying to motivate him. Hey, Ben, let's play. Ben was like, exit group chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
How
guy was
is that
calling
so
him Russ Westbrook in a candy store. Did you see that video?
What happened?
Some guy went up to Ben Simmons in the candy store and was calling him Russ Westbrook. And
Don't play with me.
Ben Simmons going to slap in the mouth?
Yeah. He's
Good. He
killing the
needs a
guy.
little bit of an edge. That's what we need out of Ben
his
Simmons.
two bouncers came over and escorted the guy. I don't know if Ben Simmons was
Ben Simmons got two bouncers walking around with him. That's awesome.
Didn't seem like that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. And
Keep
the
his
guy-
back safe.
The guy kept walking
Yeah.
away. Russ Westbrook, I love you. I love you. It was awesome.
Well, old buddy on TV went up to Paulo Banchero and called him Patrick Mahomes. You remember that on the,
at the Formula One
F1
race.
race down in Miami?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Patrick, how you doing?
That's an honest mistake.
Yeah, it's a
You
little
know?
different too. It's like, oh well, Patty Mahomes is awesome. Like Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons are basically the two most dragged players in the NBA right now because of how they've played.
I think so, because expectations of what they're supposed to be and what they
Exactly.
aren't. So it's kind of outside in. But yeah, it would be nice if both of them played better basketball, and I
Yeah.
assume that's what Kevin Durant's thinking.
It was also nice to see Paulo and DeJounte Murray kind of seemed like they put the hatchets away this
Yeah.
weekend where they're playing together.
They put their swords aside?
I think they were
slapping
playing in
cheeks.
Seattle with LeBron. Was that where?
Did they put their Winkler axes aside?
Yeah, they did.
Tell you what, those are not cheap.
Well,
They both
You're
can
never
afford 'em.
putting those things aside.
as soon as you put a Winkler axe in your hand, you're a new man.
That's right.
Because that thing has the ability to kill,
Yeah.
drop down a tree, save your life,
Right.
and be thrown a quarter mile if you have to and hit somebody
Exactly.
right in the head. Boom! Talking to Jack Carr in about 25 minutes right here.
Let's go.
Can't wait for that, man. I'm very excited for that. Let's cover some things here before hour 1 ends. Hard Knocks episode 3 tonight. Let's be excited about that.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's get pumped up about Hard
Here we
Knocks
go.
episode 3 coming around. Let's hope this one's better than episode 2. It has the Colts game in there. We might get an appearance. We were at practice. We might get an appearance. Probably not. We were never mic'd up and never got to talk to MCDC because practice ended early and he had to get out of his way. Still can't wait for it, right? I mean, we're pumped up about episode 3 tonight, MCDC show.
Yeah, I mean, you take every episode with a grain of salt, and when you know you have someone like MCDC, it's still must-watch TV because there is a chance that he just has an absolutely sterling performance tonight, which is what I'm expecting.
So in the wrestling world, whenever there's a rumor that somebody's going to return, people watch the show literally until the final moment because it might happen.
Of course.
It's kind of how I feel with MCDC tonight.
Yeah.
Any moment tonight on HBO, 10 p.m. Eastern, MCDC can drop in and drop a line that we've never heard of before and will quote forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we watch for.
Post-credit D's nuts from the first episode.
Yeah.
Damn near stole the
You
show.
did. You did.
You did,
Old
man.
school, man. You did. You did.
Also, I think when they get to this point in camp, not that he would forget anyway, but like they've been there, so like he may be like cameras. He's not thinking about them at all anymore.
Used to it.
Go ahead, Tone.
Did we talk about Cliff watching film in a jail cell at the end of last episode?
That was his office,
Yeah.
not a jail cell.
Teaser.
Come on.
But it did kind of look like, like a Guantanamo Bay cell.
Yeah.
Put some posters up, Cliff. I want you to enjoy your life a little bit. We're back in 10. Nailed it.
That looked like office life when you first day and you get your cube and nothing's on the walls or anything like that. That's what Cliff's.
It was a good candid shot, too, because you would think you would naturally want to act differently because the camera's there. So they must just set it and forget it for a good 2-3 hours because it looked like he was about 4 hours in.
Yeah.
He's just doing his thing.
They know.
Kyler Murray calling the offense for the Cardinals and scoring a couple tuds. Pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty cool.
His hair looks sweet. I hope he rocks it like that all year.
Big fro right now.
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
Unbelievable.
Look at him.
Because week 1 he didn't do well calling plays. Week 2 though, dominant.
Well, he bounced back.
Yeah.
I like the fact that maybe, having him call plays is a nice little initiative from the Cardinals to get Kyler a little bit more versed with the offense.
Yeah.
And also, Kyler's probably calling plays he likes. So let's go ahead and write these down and see what's working, what Kyler likes, what he doesn't like. That's really, I think they got group practices, joint practices with the Titans coming up. The Cardinals do. I'm not 100% sure. I believe.
It makes sense.
I might be wrong.
They play them week 3, I think, right?
Are they doing joint practices? I think they are.
Yeah. Patriots have the Raiders and they play them.
They play each other.
They play, but I wonder if is it joint practices or not?
I'm on it.
I'll be interested to see what Vrabel does
Yeah.
with Kyler, because Brave's probably pretty pumped to have Kyler because it's hard to, they are doing joint practice. When's that
August
start?
24th, tomorrow.
24th. It starts tomorrow. How many days? Players are probably fucking pissed about joint practices this late in training camp.
So what's
gonna
tomorrow?
say.
Wednesday, Thursday.
That week off.
It says only one day joint practice, and they play when?
Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, so it would have to be the rest of the week.
Yeah.
2-3 days of it.
That's on the schedule that I'm looking at. They only had Colts and they just had the start of Colts and Lions.
Yeah, just 2 days of it then.
You think J.J. Watt and Taylor Lewan are just going bull on bull?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck, boys. These fucking joint practices mean more than the game.
That's right.
What you do some of the time is what you do all the time, Taylor and JJ. Like, see you guys go.
Well, JJ's got to heal up first.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
That's
What
right.
happened, JJ?
Got
He has COVID.
the Fauci virus.
Well, Fauci's retiring, so it's going to have to be called something else.
it's
You're
gonna
saying.
be something else, even though he.
I don't know if it's the original 1-9er, though, so he
True.
might
And
be
he might have
back.
flown on his own plane to Nashville, so he was isolated from everybody.
True.
Sure.
When did he get the COVID? Do we remember?
Sunday or Saturday? It was over the weekend, I
How many
thought.
days is this? 1, 2. He got to do 5 days away, right?
He could play Saturday.
He could play. He's going to miss the joint practices, which is what we wanted from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to see old JJ and T.
He's not.
He
Arizona Cardinals reported on August 21st that he will not be present for tonight's game, nor the team's trip to Tennessee.
Oh, damn. Come on. We want Justin James, Taylor Lewan.
Yeah.
We had it for 3 days.
Now what?
He has to isolate for 5 days. That's still a rule.
You know who's pretty pumped?
Oh,
That Chandler Jones is not on the Cardinals anymore.
yeah. But it could have been a big comeuppance. Remember, he
Sure.
only gave up 2. He only gave up 2 to Chandler Jones. Chandler had 5 in that first week, and they're all credited to Taylor. And Taylor came in here and said, had a bad day. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
Should not be giving up any. But it was just 2 of the 5 were on me. But yeah, I mean, your boy got God. He said, Hey, what is he saying? He was thinking about retiring in the middle of that game or whatever. Then he went back out there.
Now he's going off social media all year, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he's going 0 Dark Taylor.
LeBron. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
He's locked in.
Well,
Focus.
huge year for Taylor.
He didn't create a name for it like that.
Well, we can give him one, and I assume Will Compton created one at least with his big old brain down there busting with the boys. I like the fact that he's doing that strictly because he's tired of hearing about how much he does off the field if he does anything wrong on the field, which I have chatted about for everybody for as long as I possibly could. If you're going to do a lot off the field, for instance, towards the tail end of my career, I was doing a lot off the field, a lot. I was doing I had a show. I was doing other people's shows. I had a merch company. I was doing stand-up comedy tours. I did a show in the middle of the season, like
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, yeah. Chuck came during the thing 2 days before a game. I mean, I was doing a lot, but I knew that if I fucked up at all, it was going to be deafening. How many people were like, if you didn't focus on all the other shit, you'd be able to kick a ball good 2 times a game or whatever. So that is something that people have to remember when they're doing all this stuff off the field, which you probably enjoy a lot more, have always wanted to do, probably going to be your next step and everything like that. You have to remember what's butter in your bread, how much money are you getting paid, and also a legion of fans that will turn their back on you very quickly for all that other shit if you don't perform well with the main thing. So you always got to keep the main thing, but also you got to plan for the future as well. This is just like with Juju Smith-Schuster with the Pittsburgh Steelers when he came in and was loud, and Antonio Brown, not loud, but doing his own thing, entrepreneurial business side, and Antonio Brown was the 1 wide receiver. He was the 2 wide receiver, and he was having great success. I think I told everybody in Pittsburgh, I was like, I like Juju. I love Juju. But Juju's going to have to continue to do very good, or Yinzers are going to get very loud. And lo and behold, AB leaves. He becomes the number 1 guy. He doesn't have as much production as he had in his first season. And now everybody's holding his TikTok against him the entire time. Yep. And that was just going to be a never-ending thing until you play your absolute best. If you have anything else going on, people are automatically going to assume you're distracted. So I like Taylor Lewan making that play, bouncing back all the way into football. I assume he'll still do Busting with the Boys, make a podcast every once in a while, which would be great to hear his brain because he's incredibly entertaining. But I would assume he got sick of hearing about all of the bullshit from everybody because you're going to fuck up at some point. It's inevitable. But if you do, and you're also doing other stuff, people are going to point it out at a much more alarming rate, I think.
Well, and we know that Vrabel is the kind of guy who would be razzing him nonstop. And like, I'm sure at the start, they have a good relationship. It's kind of like the tongue-in-cheek funny stuff. But as the season progresses, if you're still doing all that stuff, then it's like, all right, like you said, let's keep the fucking main thing the main thing.
Let's say
the tone changes a little bit.
As a punter, I was able to do it as well, because how much film can I watch? So when I'm doing my shit, there isn't the immediate question like, oh, shouldn't you be watching film? It's like, not really. And I don't think I had a miss, for like, I don't think I had a miss hit in practice or in a game for, I don't want to even say it a number of times. But there was a long part of the season where I don't remember having a single bad day ever or a bad ball ever. And it was like, I consciously knew if I want to keep tweeting, keep doing all this, I have to keep doing this or all these people will turn against me. And it's just a little bit of a different game. You got to know that whenever you're getting in there. And then once your time has come, you retire, sail off into the sunset, and say dumb shit in a microphone full time.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
That's how it works.
The universe will let you know when it's over. It's probably whenever everybody else is letting you know it's over too.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's get out of here. We'll be back for hour 2 on the other side. AJ Hawk and the author of this book. Boom!
Hell yeah.
Here we go.
That's Chris Pratt, but Jack Carr will be on.
Yes.
About 16 minutes. Be prepared to, be a little tougher, I think, after his
I cannot wait to go downrange with him.
We've been saying downrange a lot around here.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a little bit disrespected that we keep comparing like going to Quill's Coffee as downrange.
That is going downrange.
Well, you never know
Bums
what
out
you're
here.
going to do. I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of an obstacle course.
Like landmines.
There's poop on the sidewalk as
Yep.
well. But I don't think we should be talking about Quill's Coffee as being downrange like Jack Carr says downrange.
Fair.
All right. We're back in 3. We'll see you in a little bit. Hour 2 on the other side. Cheers.
You know, it's just like I'm frustrated with flying cars because I'm obsessed with that. Like I want a flying car.
Hey, me too.
What I got is my phone instead. It's like, well, the future is on your phone really right now. It's not like literally in front of you. You can't get into a flying car, but you know, your phone has it all. It's like, I don't want this phone. I'm not going to have this phone 14 hours a day like you young people do. No, thank you. Like, I'm not from that generation. But, you know, give me a flying car. You know? and honestly, when we shut down the Mars missions, you know, we were supposed to be going in 2024, and we shut it down. But a lot of people don't realize is, you know, from here to the moon is 208,000 miles roughly. You know, 200. So you can think about that. Well, in this country, you know, a long road trip could be 4,000 miles, and you know how far it is to Australia. You know, so 200,000 miles. You know, that you think about that, and you know that's far. But like Mars, think about this, is 250 million miles. 250 million miles. So, you know, that's a little different thing because, you know, when you go, you know, it takes about anywhere from, you know, 9 to 11 months to get there, depending on the alignment.
Are you going to fucking Mars?
And so,
Jim, are you going to Mars? It sounds like you're...
I wish I was. You know, maybe you'll have, I think you have a chance to do a show from there when you're 80, Pat.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, Hour 2, on this Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, shall commence immediately following this beat drop from a man named Twine. Boom! Football! There it is, here we go. The talks, that's right. By the way, that's the right answer. Talks tables here at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. That was a little inside housekeeping there in the middle of the thing. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs is here. And joining us live from an attic in Ohio is a man who's a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup champion, and a COVID survivor. Yeah. Multiple time.
We do.
We're proud of him for that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very.
Ladies and gentlemen, the face of Ohio, AJ Hall. AJ!
What's up? I see a couple books out there.
Boom! We're talking to Jack Carr, author of this book right here. That's Chris Pratt, okay? And this is obviously not Jack Carr, but boom! Jack Carr, 20-year Navy SEAL, author, badass, founder of the Terminal List series. He's going to be on the show in about 10 minutes, AJ. You fucking jacked up, pumped up, or what, dude?
Yeah, I am, and I saw what they're picked up for a season 2. What book is it going to be?
I think the second one.
Not in the blood?
In the Blood or Devil's Hand, maybe
That's the
Savage
fourth
Son.
one and the fifth one, I believe.
True believe.
I believe.
Good trigger discipline.
Thank you. And then turn that son bitch sideways. Turn that son bitch sideways. A lot of that.
Around the corner. Clear the room.
You see what I'm doing, AJ?
You can hear the BBs rattling around there.
Well, no, those are bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Those are 50 cal.
These are one of those ones that you leave at the top of the mountain when there's a bunch of fucking feds jabronis chasing you around and you're fucking James Reese, dude. And then they get to the top, Nate Boyer, former Army guy himself, and then somebody, what is that all about? He fucking could have killed us. That's what's in here. That's what's in here, pal. All right?
Thank you for clearing that up.
No problem. I'm talking to this guy. Boom! Jack Carr. Here in about 10 minutes, AJ. I am excited about it, dude. I mean, I'm fucking coming around the corner. You know what I mean?
I mean, this has got to be the first time someone's on that has written a book or they're in a movie that you've actually read or you've seen the show, right?
Bingo! Thank you, AJ.
Yeah.
AJ gets it. Yes, normally I'm going in blind. I got to go off of everybody else's reactions to it. You know what I mean? Which is kind of what I did my entire life. Hey, we got a book report due. Sweet. Let me go ask some people their thoughts. Bam, let me put those all together. And now I'm going to be the first one to answer the question for the first question. And then I'm going to move on. I'm just going to kind of, gimmick this entire thing. And it worked all the way through college. Shout out to West Virginia, being the Harvard of West Virginia, me being able to accomplish that as a college-educated person. Now, the Terminalist, I watched that son of a bitch all the way through. I should have read the book because they always say the book is better. And I'd assume the ending of this book is better than the ending of the Terminalist series. Probably. But that is something else we're going to have to ask him about, AJ.
All right, how are you going to talk to him and not give away any spoilers? I know you don't like to do.
People have had enough time.
Yeah, I've had enough time.
Yeah, you could have watched this. You could have watched
Okay,
it.
good. I agree. I think there's always time. I think spoilers, it doesn't matter if you give it away.
They could have been downrange for weeks, though.
I'm also going to ask Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr if my gun discipline is, you know what I mean? If it's pretty good, if I was to come around here.
There's little movements. You look just like old buddy in the show.
Commander.
You talking about Lieutenant Commander James Reese?
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about?
That is.
Yeah. Clear. Clear.
Thank you. I can't wait, dude.
We got to ask about Taylor Kitsch. Taylor Kitsch is so awesome in everything he does.
All right, so I obviously don't know who that is.
Tim Riggins.
Yeah, Ben.
His brother.
Brother.
Long hair, picks him up in his Jeep.
Oh, he's a sack of shit.
Yeah.
He is a sack of shit, that guy. No spoilers, sack of shit. Right? That's the guy?
Yeah, I mean,
the
he's
guy.
not a sack of shit the first 7 episodes, but
8, really.
Whoa, no spoilers. No spoilers.
Whoa.
You guys bad guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, boom! Jack Carr's on the show, 10 minutes. What do we do? Let's get to a break. How am I supposed to wait? How am I supposed to wait for this?
Good
AJ?
question.
What am I supposed to do?
What time's it
It's
coming
gonna
on?
go for until the end of the hour.
Got an operator coming on, dude.
Yeah.
Is he Commander?
Lieutenant
Commander.
Okay, I know James Reese was. I know.
20 years in the Navy, dude. How's he not a fucking admiral? How's he not the
long
president?
time.
What's the deal? Isn't that kind
Probably
of
doesn't
want to
be.
20 years Navy SEAL, you're just fucking president now?
He's an operator. He wants to operate. He doesn't want to be, pushing pencils around a desk.
He doesn't want to be pushing.
Yeah, he's an
pencils around a
operator.
desk.
He wants
This
to operate.
man was born to be in the field.
He wanted to get out so he could tell.
I was listening to the book alongside Bill yesterday, and the person that was Bill, who was reading the goddamn book? What's his name? Legend Roy Carpenter. Ray Porter.
Ray Porter.
Of course.
Roy Carpenter. Ray Porter was reading the book. The audio version of one of these books. I don't know which one me and Bill were on yesterday, but one of the 5. Bill, by the way. Bill's going to shit his pants when Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr pops up on the screen today.
Yeah.
We're talking about 6 to midnight, pal. Anytime this conversation comes up, all of his knowledge about killing people and how things go has really, it's been his Super Bowl this morning. I've been going right to Bill for all the information I need for this conversation. And he's been a never-ending supply of info on old buddy who goes into, I guess he goes into the mountains to write these books, just kind of disappears. Then he comes back out of there with a boom, here's another $100 million operation. I mean, the guy is, and Bill knows him inside out. I don't know if Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr knows this. We got a guy on staff here who's been studying him more than he was studying old asshole and Terminalist. Yeah, Bill's doing Jack Carr's tactics against Jack Carr right now from afar, and I'm going to ask Bill ask Jack if he's a little bit worried about that potential thing. AJ,
no need to worry. Bill, by the way, is my fantasy football teammate. I know, so Bill is locked in. So I'm excited that Bill has a day like this because we've talked strategy a little bit. It's going to be a fun season.
Well, I did hear about an interaction you guys had, and I think it was how your conversation ended, where you said, Bill, I feel like we got good instincts, and he responded, killer instincts, and then you didn't respond. And I think that was a setup by you for him to say that. He passed the test, and you didn't even give him a follow-up at all. You guys, bad team chemistry?
Yeah,
me and CFO Phil have already been going through game plans for fantasy football, pal. Already going through it.
Have you?
And next week we announce the draft order, correct?
Absolutely, of course.
Week after is the actual draft.
Yeah. Me and Phil talk about it all the time. We're like, hey, what are we going to do with our team? 2 kickers, punter,
game changer.
Whole thing. It should be a blast.
Give me the Bengals guy. I'll take him as a kicker.
Evan McPherson, you're going to have to draft him Early, by the way, because the fucking pain train, me and Phil, coming through trying to draft them all early in the 2 kicker setup. Let's talk about some things. The Arizona Cardinals are traveling to the Tennessee Titans tomorrow for a joint practice. They don't play till Saturday. Mike Vrabel's on the record saying they'll only have one joint practice together, so I assume they'll be practicing on different fields. Is that because Vrabel doesn't want his guys just to fight every fucking day leading up to this third preseason game? Is that what you think?
Probably. I mean, it does feel late in camp to be doing a inter-squad practice like this. But, yeah, maybe they probably know, like, hey, late in camp, these guys are sick of it. One day is probably plenty of work that they need. It would turn into probably just a full-blown – they'd have to cancel practice most likely. The guys would just fight and get out of there.
Well, Vrabel might fight Cliff Kingsbury, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Vrabel might.
I mean, Braves will take out anybody in his path, I'm guessing.
Yeah, hey, pretty boy, little bitch, what are you doing? Why are you guys running that? Huh? That would be so funny if there's a picture of Vrabes with his left mitt around Cliff Kingsbury's neck.
Yeah.
At these training camp practices. Cliff's scrappy. He's a Texas boy.
Oh, yeah.
Dad was a Marine. I'm sure even though he's a quarterback, he'd definitely put up a fight, but I would like to see how Vrabel interacts with all these coaches from other teams.
12 teams practicing together this week. There were 16 practicing together last week.
That's so many. AJ, my immediate response was, that's late. Everybody's going to be dead tired at this point. This weekend, though, allegedly, we're going to see more team starters, more players of significance because it's the third and final preseason game. But there's going to be some teams in there that aren't playing anybody, just like they have been in the last 2 weeks, and we got to find those whenever we're betting on these games. Did you watch the game last night? Falcons started out looking good. They were playing against the Jets 2s and 3s, but it seemed like they had some things together. Jets, Strevler comes back, wins them the game in the end. Did we learn anything from that, and did you enjoy that game last night?
I mean, I don't like I said before, I think yesterday, you can kind of see what the quarterbacks looked like. I felt like Mariota looked good. He looked like he was in control. And I saw Arthur Smith had some good things to say about him. That's all you can really tell. Ritter looks good. He's athletic. And the Jets, I have no clue what they are really.
Okay, the Jets.
Good interview by Flacco, though, talking about their offense and how they've simplified it a little bit and how he likes it.
Hey, Joe Flacco's hair was talked about in hour 1 on this show. He, Gordon Hayward, and Andy Dalton have had quite a come up finding a barber, I believe. Did you find that to be the exact truth as well?
Joe looked like, hey, this is like an established vet. Like, there's an adult in the room when you see Joe, don't you think?
Oh, because he's got gray hair, so you're making fun of him?
Joe's like 6'8". He's a lot taller than people think at the same time.
And he can move. He can move.
Throws a pretty ball.
Jesse Bates has officially signed his franchise tag as soon as he came back into the building, ending his holdout. He could do a holdout because he wasn't technically under contract, so it was not costing him any money. If he had signed a franchise tag and held out, they would have been able to fine him. He did not sign a franchise tag, so he's kind of in purgatory. He was not a free agent. He was not able to go anywhere else. He could only go back to the Bengals, and the negotiating time frame had already passed. So he's definitely going to be on the franchise tag for this season. He's a guy they need over there. I'm sure they're pumped to have him back. He missed some time. Should we be worried about that? What do you think the future looks like, AJ?
No, I think he added some longevity to his career by missing the first 3-4 weeks of banging with the Guardian caps. Now, okay, he comes back in. I don't want to bring everything back to the Guardian caps. Does he have to wear one for like a week?
Yeah, does he have to get baptized in the Guardian era because he chose to miss the first 3 weeks? I mean, maybe. We'll see if
maybe that's why we have all these joint practices right now, because this is the first time they take the Guardian caps off, so Motor City Dan Campbell can actually hear those helmets popping a little bit.
Okay, Motor City Dan Campbell, episode 3 of Hard Knocks debuts this evening on HBO, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have complained publicly and privately about the lack.
Your case. Your case is well known.
Yes, to both the NFL Films people who we love. We love
them.
Okay? The Hard Knocks crew, we fucking love them. They're talking like 500 hours or 200 hours of footage that they have to comb through. It is miserable. Foxy gets 2 hours of footage. It's a nightmare putting something together. So the 200 hours, 500 hours, we appreciate how hard their job is. We appreciate our partnership with NFL Films. If I don't see 42 minutes of fucking MCDC tonight, AJ, it's going to be hard for me not to complain. Don't you think, AJ? And what should we expect out of this? We got a win against the Colts, joint practice where they did not do great day 1, did great day 2. I think there's going to be a lot of seeing how a team gets built behind the scenes in this particular episodes. Like, for real, though, not just us talking shit. I think there's going to be a lot of real moments in how a team comes together in this particular episode tonight, AJ.
I think so. I think maybe they'll show a little bit more of their team staff meetings. It's always interesting to me when we see all the coaches together in those staff meetings as players those like, okay, what is going on in those rooms? What are the coaches actually saying about me? Is my coach standing up for me? I think it's cool to see clips of that when they're in those big staff meetings, but you'll probably be disappointed, man. They're not going to show 42 minutes of Dan Campbell.
What's your deal?
Why would you say that?
They're going to show a lot of them, but they're going to show some backstories. There's going to be some people you don't really know that they're going to highlight a little bit. It's going to be a cool, feel-good story.
David Blau should get a little. I mean, he kind of got buried in the last episode. Nobody asked for it. Now
they're going to start this one. Well, they can't start it with maybe like have a little. Start it with him, playing well and winning now. Redemption from last week.
And he did play great football, by the way. He played great football against Colts in the game against our fourth stringers. No.
Still.
Nobody's judging. Nobody's saying anything. He's doing what he's doing. He did great. David Blau. He's David Thanksgiving hero, David Blau. Did you hear about them having a players-led practice alongside Dan Campbell? He was the only coach out there. And do you think that's just gimmick for Hard Knocks?
No, I don't know anything about that. How did it go?
It was allegedly announced yesterday that the Lions just went through an entire player-led practice. No coaches were out on the field besides Dan Campbell. He quietly observed. Taylor Decker says it was a unique practice and he's never experienced one like it before. That was via Danny at Danny Rogers _ who I believe works for the Detroit Lions. So this is probably some ownership of the team. Hey, we need you guys to take ownership, go through the practice. I like that the ex-players are like, y'all motherfuckers figure it out. If you guys are so smart, go ahead and do it. If they go through it and there isn't a bunch of mistakes, it's great. And I assume we're going to see this on Hard Knocks, AJ.
This will definitely be a highlight of Hard Knocks, I would imagine, because it's so unique, right? I mean, I don't know. They weren't wearing pads. It'd be interesting to see players wearing pads running their own practice.
Well, Aiden Hutchinson's leading that defense. Is that what's going on?
Oh, yeah. Him or Rodriguez, who's with the first string now, I believe.
Hey, he's a dump truck, Rodriguez. Yeah. Hey, he brings the thud, Rodriguez. Now, I do believe play action might get him. He's a little bit undersized, so it's going to be hard for him to see if things are happening. But you can find a place on a team for a guy like Rodriguez.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Speaking of finding a place on a team for a guy, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. This is a massive moment because AJ alluded to earlier. This is the first time I'm getting a chance to chat with an author of a book that I actually got to experience. A lot of people come on this show pitching a bunch of different shit. I'm sure it's all great. I ain't read a single page of any of them. I ain't never seen a single movie or show of any of them. This particular author, this particular American badass is one that provided great entertainment not only for me, but for millions and millions of people worldwide with the hit series Terminalist on Amazon. He's an author of 5 books. I'm not sure if there's another one on the way, but we can fucking hope. 20 years as a Navy SEAL, an absolute stallion of life. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr. Yeah! What's up, dude?
How's it going? How are you guys?
Hey, fucking good, dude. Boom! We're talking to you, man. I am so thankful you're here.
I'm so fired up. I'm fired up. I heard someone just told me, they texted me, and they said that you are an avid reader. So I was so excited to come on and talk to you.
Jack, listen, I don't want to disrespect you here early because I have seen and heard about what you have done to others that have done as such. I've never read a book in my life. I read that your mother was a librarian. Do you think that's why you got so into books? Because normally the super creative types aren't the type that can get through buds and maintain a 20-year. You're kind of an anomaly, don't you think? And do you think it's because of your mother's love of reading and such whenever you were a kid?
Oh, yeah. We grew up surrounded by books and a love of reading, so it was as natural as sitting down for dinner or going out to exercise or whatever else. Reading was just a natural part of our lives. And when I got to about 10 years old, that's when I started to read the things my parents were reading, which at the time, that's when Hunt for Red October came out. Nice. And then I started reading all the David Morrell, Nelson DeMille, A.J. Quinnell, J.C. Pollock, Mark Olden, Stephen Hunter, all these guys that were the masters of the thriller genre, because I knew I wanted to be a SEAL one day. And back in the 80s, there wasn't much you could read on special operations. You could read it like in an hour at the library. But then these books, they had protagonists, they had main characters that had that background as Marine snipers, Army Special Forces, Navy SEALs, CIA paramilitary. So I thought, hey, these authors, these guys like Tom Clancy must have done their research. So I'm going to get a little information from these books. And then I just fell in love with them and knew that after my time in the military, I'd write thrillers. So that was the path, but it all stemmed from that foundation of reading, of that love of reading.
Pretty good journey, Jack. I think you did okay, pal. Boom! This thing's a fucking great book, as is the entire series. Go ahead, AJ.
How did the whole process come about of the show happening, especially with Chris Pratt? I know you have a relationship with that guy, Taylor Kitsch. Everybody in the show is unbelievable, casted very, very well. But you and Chris Pratt, I know you guys have a special bond, it seems like.
Yeah, he's great. So as I was writing, I sat down to write this thing, and being a child of the 80s, it's very natural just to pick your actor, pick your director as you sit down to write, and no one knows who you are. You haven't sold one book. That just seemed very natural to me. So I had just seen this guy, Chris Pratt, play a character in Zero Dark 30, a very small role in the movie about the hunt for bin Laden. And he played a Navy SEAL. And he was also in this show called Parks and Rec, where he was kind of like an overweight, funny guy. And I saw that transformation. I saw that transformation of him from this kind of fat comic guy into this operator. And he was inherently likable. You just liked this guy. So as I'm typing away, I think he will play my main character, James Reese. And Chris hadn't been in Guardians of the Galaxy, had not been in Avengers, had not been in Jurassic World. So he had not had that rise to A-list prominence yet. But he's the guy that I wanted. And then I also wanted Antoine Fuqua to direct. I loved Training Day and Tears of the Sun and all that. And so I thought this is a perfect guy to direct. And now we have Chris and Antoine as executive producers along with me. But the way Chris got the book is a buddy called me out of the blue in November of 2017, and I hadn't talked to him in 5 years, buddy from the SEAL teams. And he first asked if I remembered him, which I did. And then he said, hey, do you remember what you did for me in the SEAL teams? And I did not. And he said, hey, you're the only person that as I was getting out, you sat me down in your office, talked to me about transitioning to the private sector. You introduced me to people in the private sector, and you followed up with me to see how things were going. I've never forgotten it. I always wanted to thank you. And I kind of said, no problem. How's it going? And he said, it's going great, but I heard you wrote a book. And I said, yeah, it's coming out in about 5 months. I can send you a rough draft, though, if you'd like to see it. And he said, yeah, but I'd like to give it to a friend of mine. I think my best friend would like to read it. And I said, who's that? And he said, Chris Pratt. And I thought, well, that's convenient, because as I wrote this thing, I had him in mind. So Jared gave it to Chris. Chris read it in December of 2017 and called the first week in January of 2018 to option it. And then off we went to the races. So,
everything you've been through, you believe the universe put that together there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like that. I didn't expect anything back from Jared. I didn't even remember doing it, introducing to people in the private sector and following up with him and to see how things were going for him. And then, but he never forgot about it. And then years later, he found out I was writing this book and saw an opportunity to help me out as well. But he read it first to make sure it wasn't absolute garbage. Like, he read it first before he gave it to Chris. And then he gave it the approval and then gave it to Chris. And now Jared's he plays Boozer in the show, so he's that character Boozer. He's a producer and a technical advisor on it as well. So he was there every day on set, as was Max Adams, who's an Army Ranger, and then my buddy Ray Mendoza of War Office Productions. Those three guys were on there every day on set to make sure it didn't get too Hollywood.
That's okay. So that's what I was about to say, getting too Hollywood. So you have your hands on with the Prime thing. I assume that was just a part of the deal that you made with them. I would like to be a part of it. Like, whenever Lone Survivor came out, he was there, right? Every single day, I think, while they were filming that with Mark Wahlberg to try to make it as realistic as possible, because I do feel like you guys have an innate hatred for Hollywood and bullshit. So how much of that, of your time, is taken to, like, editing things out, cutting through stuff, and how hands-on are you with the whole process for Prime?
Yeah, well, usually they like to get rid of the author right away because they don't want the author on set saying, you ruined my vision, that sort of a thing. So usually they just give you a little bit of money and then sideline you. But because it was Chris and we got to know each other over the last couple of years before we started filming, and because it was Antoine and we got to know each other, they wanted to be involved in that process. So they put me together with a guy called the showrunner, who in series television with multiple directors is like the main point of contact. And we got together and we started writing this initial script. And so I got to be involved with every part of the process, pre-production, production, post-production. But it was really those guys I mentioned before that were there every day, because I had to come back here to Park City, Utah, write my 5th novel. I'm writing the 6th one right now. So I had to do those sorts of things where those guys were on set every day. And because of those friendships, and then because of the trust that Antoine and Chris and the showrunner had with those guys with military experience, that's pretty unusual. And I had multiple people come up to me on set and say they've been a part of hundreds of Hollywood productions. They've never felt this way on a set. They've never seen this level of trust between these senior level executives and technical advisors. And they just thought this was a special thing to be a part of. And they didn't have to come up and tell me that, but so many people did. And you could sense it. You could sense there was something special going on that wasn't quite what people normally experience in Hollywood.
Yeah, smashing success by all accounts. Everybody that's ever watched it says, damn, This is unbelievable. I assume it's helped the book sales as well. I would also like to add in, you helped Chris Pratt out immensely as well, because my introduction to him, I had not seen Parks and Rec, even though it was filmed here in Indianapolis. I was not a watcher of that or anything else that you chatted about. I was introduced to him in Jurassic World Dominion. And I'll tell you what, that movie was terrible. And I actually said, like, how is this Chris Pratt guy the guy? Because I was sitting next to him at a UFC fight, and all my guys were like, hey, Chris Pratt is the guy. Like, he's the guy. I'm like, I just saw him in Jurassic World Dominion. This guy ain't a guy. I don't know what you're talking about. Then I see him in Terminal List, and I'm like, I want Chris Pratt in everything. Like, literally, like, the entire turn of Chris Pratt in my mind, and I would assume not everybody else, I'm an absolute doofus, but I love him in there. And I like the fact that you said you were writing for him. It's like a match made in heaven. Now, how much of an onus do you think you put on yourself to showcase what life is like with PTSD? Because I think it's been chatted about, right? I think it's been something that's been talked about. It's been a big time political talking point. It's been a TV talking point. Everybody, oh, we got to take care of these guys. PTSD is a real thing. But we never really get to experience it in any other way other than, I think, just hearing about it. Terminal Lists, I think, showcase what some guys fucking go through, right? And when you're drawing from people's experiences and writing this character, is there truth in that, or are you just trying to put things together? Because I think it was very important to society to showcase that as well, Jack.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was trying to do it in a way that made sense for the story. So oftentimes people's experience with these different issues comes through Hollywood, comes through fiction, comes through these different, let's say, commercial avenues, and that's how they experience. Maybe they hear about it on the news here and there, but when you have it in a story and it connects it to someone that now you're connecting with as a reader or as a viewer, then it humanizes it a little bit. So the story isn't only about post-traumatic stress, but it is certainly a large element of it and drives that plot forward, and the people in it are experiencing some of that. Obviously, in the show, we're showing that visually through Chris's memory that he can't quite trust and can't quite put together through this conflation. So I thought that was something that drives the novel forward. And obviously, I have, and most people who have went downrange over the last 20 years have personal experience with post-traumatic stress, or those dealing with it, and maybe dealing with it in not the healthiest of ways, maybe getting just pills from the VA, dealing with getting Ambien, drinking, then you have marital problems, maybe you have some drugs to that, sleep issues, the trauma of the battlefield, the physical trauma of the battlefield as well, not just the emotional. And they're dealing with all of that as they're trying to transition out of a profession that they've been part of for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and now try to recreate themselves in the private sector. All that stuff doesn't really lend itself to a successful transition unless you really take a breath and figure things out and make some conscious decisions to deal with these issues. So it is a big part of the show. It's a big part of the books, and it's a big part of our society right now with so many guys dealing with it who went down range over the last 20 years.
I think it's going to enact some real change, honestly, because I think a lot of people are getting like, oh shit, this is what they're talking about. Whenever I hear it or somebody chat about it, because there's ripple effects. It's obviously not just the person that's served, it's the family, it's everything. And before AJ asks his question, downrange, has this always been a term? Because I'll tell you what, it's hard not to drop it in like today we're saying we're going to downrange a Jack Orley. It's just, we're throwing, has that been an insider? Is that what the SEALs have always called it and just assumes like that's battle time? Or are we just, did you create this? I
didn't create it. No, I didn't create it. You say downrange, were you on a shooting range even? Like that, even at that level? Hey, going downrange so nobody shoots as you walk forward to the line to check your targets and that sort of a thing.
Got it.
But on deployment, downrange also means going to Iraq or Afghanistan or Somalia or something like that. So it's just one of those terms that you throw in there. That's kind of, I guess it's a little insider. I guess it's a little bit of insider.
Yeah.
But hey, when you mentioned the book sales earlier for this one right here, I was on an interview with Chris not too long ago, and I had to tell him, I'm like, dude, we changed this cover for you, man, and you know what? It didn't really help sales. I don't know what's going on. It's not doing much. So we had to reprint it, and we had to do this. And so that's Taylor Kitsch right there. And, so we printed a bunch of these titles, and I put them on a book right here, and it says now an original series starring Taylor Kitsch on Prime Video. So we had a bunch of these made. So I'm gonna have Taylor and Chris and I'll sign it, and we'll auction them for charity or something at some point.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Go ahead, AJ.
You mentioned you're in the process of writing your 6th right now. What is that process like, and is it different now than it was, say, for your first one?
No, it's all been the same for whatever reason. And, I didn't read too many how-to books on writing. I read On Writing by Stephen King, The Successful Novelist by David Morrell, a couple books like that. But you can spend today, I think, an inordinate amount of time researching how to do something. And it's almost an excuse not to actually do it. Eventually, you have to commit and you have to do it. So there are a couple of these books that I read. Most of them were autobiographical, almost about these other authors. But then I dove right in because I had this foundation already built. And for me, it just made sense to start with a title. The title was jumped right out at me for this first one in particular. A theme, Revenge Without Constraint. A one-page executive summary, kind of like you'd read on the inside flap of a book.
Oh, I've read a bunch of those. I have read a bunch of those.
A bunch of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours
you don't
is
want to
great.
jump right in. You don't want to. I think you're 35, so you don't want to. You want to ease into these things. So just take it. Just stick with the flaps for now.
Hey, 40th birthday! I'm fucking turning a page, Jack.
Nice. I like it. Awesome. I'm gonna do what I can. For that transition. But then I write that one-page executive summary. And today, when I do that, then I ask myself the question: hey, if someone was to read this one-page executive summary, this couple of paragraphs, would that be enough for them to want to commit 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, 15 hours, however long it's going to take them of their life that they're never going to get back to reading this? And then I read it, and if the answer is yes, then I read it again, and I say, is this one-page executive summary, is this enough for me to want to spend 2 years, essentially, year and a half of my life committed to? And if both of those answers are yes, then boom, I'm all in. And I take that couple paragraphs, turn that into an outline, and then I take that outline and start turning that into the narrative. So right now on book 6, I'm on the narrative portion right now, turning that outline into book 6, which comes out next spring.
We can't wait to read it. Well, the book.
At least the jacket, yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing. I see a little horse soldier bourbon behind you. Shout out to the absolute stallions green berets that were on horseback going through Afghanistan, I do believe.
Yep, absolutely. Some of the first into Afghanistan after 9/11, Scotty Neal and Mark Nooch, and then came back and eventually started Horse Soldier. And what awesome guys. I had them on my podcast, heard their story, and just solid guys.
Danger Close podcast. Also, obviously, #1 New York Times bestseller with the Terminalist. We're talking to Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr. Hey, this is delicious. And 100 proof, I think.
Oh, yeah. Gets the job done.
Diesel.
Yeah,
it's serious. Yeah, those guys aren't messing around over there.
No. You do boozing? You smoke? You do any ayahuasca, anything like that?
No, mostly cigars, and whiskey. I'm sticking to that for now, but who knows? I'm not against it in the future, but that's where I am right now. It's my fuel essentially. My fuel for writing the books is that and Hoot and Young and a couple other bottles I have over here.
Have you dabbled in anything like those extreme PTSD measures? Have you experienced that yourself after 20 years? I assume you've seen some shit, especially as a connoisseur of sharp objects. More specifically, the Winkler axes right over your left shoulder right there.
Bam.
Boom. Oh, wow. I mean,
right,
I seen Chris Pratt do some shit with that thing. I couldn't even fathom you, but have you had to do anything to combat your PTSD, or is this almost like your the way you get through it, like your therapy almost through it all?
It was very therapeutic, and I didn't realize how personal it was going to be until even when I wrote that one-page executive summary and that outline. It didn't really occur how I know it was going to be accurate as far as sniper weapon systems and that sort of a thing, but I didn't realize how personal it was going to be until I actually started writing the narrative from the outline. And then right away, it became evident how personal of a writing experience this was going to be. Just going back to experiences downrange and pulling out the feelings and emotions behind them and then applying them to a completely fictional narrative. So it did become very therapeutic, but I was also very lucky with the decisions that I made downrange for whatever reason. Because you can make the quote-unquote right decision at every turn downrange in combat and things can still go south. Just like the opposite. You can stumble around and you can make the quote-unquote wrong decision and things can turn out okay. So for whatever reason, I sleep very well at night. But a lot of my friends are dealing with some serious issues, and a lot of them have done that. Done the ayahuasca stuff and done those experimental treatments. And most everyone that I talk to who have done that say that it was game-changing for them, that it was a life changer and a life saver in many cases.
Yeah, I think every time you say downrange, by the way, everybody in here gets fucking excited.
Do a shot. Everybody does a shot every time I say it. Maybe
that'd be awesome.
You say it.
Are we doing a shot of Horse Soldier bourbon together right now, or you got a long day ahead of you?
We sure do. We sure can. I do have a long day, but like I said,
my guy.
This is the fuel. Yeah, here.
Hey,
open this one.
Hey, thank you, man. Hey, thank you for everything you've done. Honestly, incredibly entertaining. Yep, there we go. Hey, cheers to you, Bob. And the boys got some questions. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
What?
Hell yeah. Smooth.
Solid right there.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, let's go write a book.
Yeah, we got to do more of these interviews. This is great. I think it's like 11:30 here in Mountain Time.
Hey, it's all right. You probably have, 7, 8, 9 books done by midnight tonight with the way you go? I mean, it's impressive. Ty Schmidt, go ahead.
Jack, how often, if ever, when you're writing, like some of these like set pieces, will you have to go back and maybe say like, oh, this is actually too close to like a real life operation that I've been a part of? Like, does that ever happen? And also, has it changed the way you go about doing things now that it has become a series? Like, is it hard to kind of not write for the screen as opposed to just writing a novel?
Yeah, so it has changed how I write. You can see it in the last book and In the Blood, because I was writing that one as we're on set, and I'm seeing these different the scripts turn into something real life, and I'm seeing what actors are bringing to their characters. I'm seeing the things that they do in episode 1, 2, and 3 that impacts episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm seeing how the terrain impacts what we're doing visually. And then I'm also seeing these different conflations that I hadn't really written too much about in the book that we went heavy into in the series. And so that definitely impacted. And if you've seen the series and read In the Blood, my last one, then I think it's pretty evident which parts of that were impacted by the show and by screenwriting. So I'm learning a ton, and it's definitely impacting what I do as a writer, but it's also, I think, making me a better writer, and the book's better. So it was a great experience. I feel lucky that those guys all wanted me involved and really mentored me through this process. And now I have a few other projects out there in Hollywood going on, a couple other things happening. And if they don't come to fruition, it's still a great experience, and I can turn all of those ideas into future books anyway. So it's been fantastic.
You're crushing it, Lieutenant Commander. You should know that. And I'm a little boozed up right now, as you see, so I probably shouldn't be handling this. But hey, whenever this.
Look at that.
Hey, huh?
Man, what is that? That looks pretty powerful. What is that thing? Is that even legal?
This was the same thing that Reese was carrying around the mountain when he put that bullet on top of the mountain, and old Cuzzy goes, "What does this mean?" And Nate Boyer goes, "He fucking could have killed us." Basically, that's the same gun.
It looks like that.
Yeah.
It actually looks like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is a pump action, obviously, instead of bolt action.
Obviously,
you and I both know this is a little old school.
Mm-hmm.
But did Chris Pratt have to go through any sort of training with you guys to pass the eye test of being a fucking killer? And how was that process? Were you hands-on with that?
Yeah, so it was crazy COVID time, especially in LA, Hollywood in particular, California, obviously. So he couldn't go to like a boot camp type of a thing. So, but luckily he has a background in that already. He's pretty solid as far as all that stuff goes anyway, just being a guy. So he was good, solid foundation. And then we had those guys I mentioned earlier on set with him each and every day, essentially working with him on all this. And then Taylor, he had to learn to run the shotgun. So Chris and Taylor, they're running M4s and pistols and that sort of a thing. But then Taylor had to run this shotgun that's in his picture right here. And that took a ton of work on his part. And he's going through his house, and he's doing these dummy rounds that he's using in the shotgun, clearing corners and getting good with it. And he really, because that's a different deal when you're running a shotgun, especially the way that Taylor did as Ben Edwards in the show. Look at that. Whoa. Yeah, solid move. Look at that. Whoa. Yeah.
I did not complete putts. I did not complete putts.
I think if there's a season 2 and they're in negotiations about it right now, I think there might be a spot for you, at least as a technical advisor, from what I see.
Yeah, I'll do some teaching. You guys need me to do any teaching, I will certainly do that.
Be one of the dead guys.
Be one of the dead guys?
Yeah, why don't you shoot him? You can have someone shoot him.
I'm a good seller. I can sell pretty good.
If we need to throw somebody off a roof or through a window or something like that, maybe. I think there might be a spot.
Hey, make that a high building, because I'm only going to do that one time. So, let's go ahead and make that worth it. You know what I mean? And when they'll have that big thing at the bottom.
Yeah, of course.
I always see it on MTV when they do Jackass and stuff. They sit and they land on that big thing. That'd be great. Are you still stay up with your abilities just in case a motherfucker tries you? With these videos that hit the internet, Keanu Reeves obviously did this. We see you here in a full suit. Got to be 7,000 degrees. Plunk, 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 plunk. Headshot, headshot, headshot. About 35 dead metal bodies here in a matter of 15 to 20 seconds. How often do you do stuff like this? And is it just kind of like a jump shot? You always have it?
Well, luckily I have a pretty solid foundation there. I'd like to do it more, but right now I'm doing a lot of typing, a lot more typing than I'm actually doing training. But if I want to, from what I see here, though, I'm gonna have to get back on the range and get to work. But that one right there, I was going up to the Reagan Library to do a talk and a signing as part of a book tour, and Terran Tactical is at the base right there, and that's where Keanu Reeves did all his John Wick training. And so on the way in, that's why I had the suit on. So pulled in real quick. They had the rifles ready to go, pistols ready to go, and just hopped on, ran it once, and then jumped back in the car and headed up to do my signing and made it with like seconds to go to get on stage there. But figured if I was there, I couldn't not run that course, because that's the training that I get these days is when I make it a part of work.
You fucking gangster. This dude shows up, suit on, sunglasses on, operator glasses on, like when you got killed in the car in the middle of the series there. You have your sunglasses on. Are the guns all ready? Yeah. All right, they ready to die? Yeah, all right. So somebody got a camera? Yeah, all right. Ting, 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 ping, ping, ping. All right, thanks, guys. Got to go to an autograph signing with fucking bullet shells on me, basically, still. You are a legend, sir. I hope you know that. It is awesome to see somebody that has done so much, not only for our country, but obviously for your family, for your community, giving back and having massive success. You are the man. Go ahead, Boston Connor.
Yeah, Jack, you just mentioned the second season kind of being in the works right now or maybe getting screened. Do you write some of these other stories with other people in mind, like with Chris Pratt? Like, do you have maybe a villain of Keanu Reeves, maybe Matthew McConaughey in one of these ones coming out?
So I do now, because now I know how helpful that is to the showrunner and to everybody involved for me to give them an idea of what I pictured as that character, just to give them a little bit of a baseline. So now I saw that last time. So now in this one, I have the whole season outlined already. I've sent that to the showrunner. He's given me notes, sent it back. We worked together on it, got it to a place that's pretty cool. We're excited about. But for each of those new characters that's being introduced in the second book, then I do have names attached, a couple different options there, just so that they can start thinking casting wise. And sometimes they'll know right off the bat, hey, so-and-so is definitely a no-go. They're involved in X, Y, or Z right now, and they can't commit to this. But okay, this second and third choice, okay, possibility. Let's reach out to their agents. So it does help them a little bit. So I do have people in mind now, particularly when I'm writing the scripts for the series.
What was it like coming home after your first long deployment? That's something I think is in the show and different movies try to show how tough it is. Just getting back into normal life, it seems boring or weird. What was that like, your first deployment coming home?
Yeah, so the first actual combat deployment, I was always pretty good at flipping the switch on and off. But what I describe in the first book, James Reese coming home, and in the book it's a little different than the show in that it's a memory of a previous homecoming, and he comes home and that's when the disaster has already hit. But in the book, we needed to introduce you to the viewer, to his wife, to his daughter, that sort of a thing. So it's a little bit different. But the way I wrote it in the book is exactly one of my homecomings. I just went back into that memory and wrote that out, and I had to draw the reader in, make it emotional, and then just tear their heart out. So, but there was only one time when I had a real hard time coming home, and that was height of the war, 2006. I'd been attached to a CIA covert action unit that also informs my writing in Baghdad, and it was amazing because I was the only military person attached to this special unit, and it was just awesome. So a little less oversight than I was used to with the military. So I was having an amazing time going out every night hitting these targets, and I didn't want to come home. So my whole team went home. It was in other parts of Iraq, and I just stayed. And my commanding officer finally had to call and say, hey, get your ass on a plane. It's going to be waiting. C-17 is going to be waiting for you after tonight's op, and you're going to fly home, and you have to come home. And at the time, I had beard, long hair. I was just loving living in this, doing these missions. And I came home, and my mind was still in Iraq because it was it was just very busy, I guess is the best way to put it. I wanted to be there. And I came home, and finally my wife was like, hey, what's wrong with you? Snap out of it. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I better snap out of it. So when she said that, it was like, because you can't be there. You are physically in Virginia Beach. You can't physically be in Iraq. So get your mind right, get your mind home, flip that switch, deal with what you need to take care of on the home front, and then prep for that next deployment.
Be where your feet are, I think, is a classic thing. It's got to be difficult to do whenever you say, hey, honey, sorry about it. I was just able to do whatever the fuck I wanted. It's kind of like a dream military situation. I love you. Right. I wanted to come home, love being safe. But also, I was kind of the guy there for a while. Being able to,
I know there is a little bit of that probably, but it was interesting. My commanding officer, that guy that called me, he called me or texted me about 2 weeks ago. He said he'd seen the show and reached back out and went back through that memory with me of having to essentially order me and force me.
Hey, you remember when I had to force you fucking to go home? You remember when?
Yeah, and tell me to get a haircut before I got back. which I didn't do. But hey, that little rebellious streak maybe that comes out in the writing as well.
Well, you're a SEAL. There's a reason. You have to be, kind of an independent thinker, a free thinker, a very strong-minded person, I think, to be a SEAL. I don't know enough about it to be speaking the way I am, but I feel like those are probably some traits that keep people from ringing the bell while you're going through buds. And whenever a Navy SEAL writes something like this, and it's about a Navy SEAL, it's hard not to be like, oh, these are all real things while you're watching it. And then I learned a little bit more about how you have to get approval for the shit that you're writing from the government, because there's a chance that, some of it might be too close to home or whatever. How big of a thing is that for you? And while we're watching it, should we assume that some of it's real, some of it probably taken a little bit out of context? So, how do you think we should watch it for those of us that can't wait for season 2?
Yeah, so it's really the mindset that I was going after. It's a fictional narrative. Of course, I draw from the church hearings in the mid-'70s that really investigated some overreach by certain institutions of the U.S. government, like the CIA. So I went back into history to study that and then project that forward into modern times. But all the situations are completely made up. But it's really the mindset of a warrior that I was going after. I wanted somebody, and Chris and Antoine and the showrunner, they wanted the same thing. They wanted that person who has been in Iraq or Afghanistan or somewhere else around the world over the last 20 years to be able to crack a beer, sit on that couch, turn this thing on, and say, hey, these guys made a show for me. They got this warrior mindset right, and didn't make it too Hollywood, and made something that spoke just to me. And so that's really what we were trying to accomplish there. And I think that 95% Rotten Tomatoes rating really says we got close. We did get close. But really it was the mindset of a warrior. And as far as those redactions go, so the first book I started writing when I was still during my last year in the military, when my job became to get out of this gigantic bureaucracy. So I had a lot of standing in line to do at dental and medical and get read out of secret programs and turn in gear and that sort of a thing. But because it's a gigantic bureaucracy, you have to stand in line first to make your appointment, to then come back and stand in line again, to then go do these things. Yeah. So I had some time on my hands there. So I'm writing this book during that time frame, and it was so close to my time in uniform that I thought, okay, I should probably submit this thing, and my lawyer thought the same thing. So I submitted it to the Department of Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review, and that first book, they took about 9 sentences out, and which I thought was pretty good, and they got it back 45 days. They advertised 30 days, but 45 was okay. So second one, I did the same thing. I submit that one, and 1 month passes, 2 month passes, 3, 4, 5, 6, creeping up on 7. We have to push the publication date a few months to the right, and they took out 54. But by this point, I can hire some additional attorneys who can now go in and tie each one of these government redactions to a publicly available government document. So not something that's in someone else's book or on Wikipedia or Time Magazine or something, but that anyone in the world can download from a U.S. government website. And so we tied all 54 of those to publicly available documents from the government, and they let me win on 37. So you can now take the paperback and the hardcover, and you can compare what they thought was so secret. And one of those things they thought was so secret was something I made up. And I made up a CIA black site in Morocco, because I'd been to Morocco before my time in the military. I love Morocco. I could describe it. I remember being in Marrakesh and the sights and the sounds. And so I thought it made sense geographically for the story. So they took out any reference to Morocco, Moorish architecture, Atlas Mountains. They blacked out all of that. But then I won it on appeal. So what does that tell me, and anyone else reading it who decides to compare? Yeah. It says, hey, we probably have a CIA black site in Morocco. I didn't know about it. But they could have just left it alone.
Yeah.
So for the third one, I did a Savage Son. I submitted that one. They took out, I forget how many sentences, and I went to appeal again. And this time they told me that they weren't going to let me appeal. So for me, that kind of tells me, hey, quit bothering us with this fiction stuff, kid. We have serious things going on here in the United States government that we need to attend to. So now going forward, I don't submit anymore.
I've been to Morocco. I got pickpocketed by a kid on the streets of Morocco while playing soccer with the locals. I didn't see a CIA agent come help me out at all. Come on.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers are there, sounds like.
They might have just been watching.
Oh, look at the big, fat, dumb white right there, getting all the euros taken from him. Last question here from one of the boys. We appreciate you so much, Lieutenant Commander. Go ahead, Tone.
Commander, I have a problem where when I watch a show, I get super into the show. I've already bought and purchased a new biometric safe because of the show. I purchased a 1911. Thank you. Love you, Boozer.
He's wearing that cowboy hat right now because he watched
Yellowstone.
So he became a cowboy after watching Yellowstone. He's not a cowboy by trade. He's from Pittsburgh naturally. He watched Yellowstone, did that. He will soon be James Reese, which is awesome. Go ahead, Tom.
Have you met anyone at these book signings who are like too into your books, and you've thought about doing like a fan camp where we could come out for a week, maybe get some training from you guys, and you can make $1 billion?
Actually, interesting on both those fronts. There are some very engaged fans out there, which is wonderful. And people bring me at book signings. Usually at book signings, the majority of people that show up at an independent bookstore, they told me about 90% female. They try to really figure out how to get males to come to these things. Mine's the exact opposite. It's about 90% male, 10% female. And they bring things to independent bookstores like Tomahawks.
Hey, we got the same deal. Hey, we got the same deal, Lieutenant Commander. Yeah, same deal.
There it is. They bring magazines for M4s, ARs to sign. And bookstores aren't really used to this. People are pulling out knives, showing me all this stuff. They're bringing all the gifts. A lot of people bring whiskey, which is awesome.
Right.
So my bags, I have an empty bag now that I carry on book tour that just gets filled with whiskey and all these things as I go along. But man, I could not be more thankful for those type of fans. People who took a risk on me as a new author and then told a friend, because that's how all this happened. Is somebody took a risk on me, told a friend. It was all grassroots. Wasn't coming from politics. Wasn't coming from anything that gave me any sort of a platform. It all started at zero. So it's really because of the reader that made all this happen.
I love the thought of you signing at Barnes & Noble and somebody working there taking their mask off being like, is that a gun?
Yeah.
Why is there a gun in the bookstore?
That happens.
And it's like, well, COVID's going to kill you for sure, but these guns, let's go ahead and get crazy about it. Last question from me, Lieutenant Commander. You hear about any Navy SEAL that ever tells any story being hated by other Navy SEALs, right? Like, hey, that's not what the SEALs do. The SEALs do not have any success outside of fucking killing people for the United States of America. It's almost like a code, I feel like, and I respect and appreciate the shit out of it. Have you seen any backlash from the SEAL community? Have you got support, I assume, from the SEAL community? And is that something you have to think about every single time you write anything, basically, at this point?
Yeah, no, I didn't really want to spend my time thinking too much about that because that's bandwidth that's not going into making the book the best it can possibly be. There is a lot of that, mostly with the nonfiction side of the house. So people talking about a mission or their time in uniform, and there is that goes along. There are people in that don't really like that.
Why is that? Hey, why is that? Just because, hey, we signed up not to tell people what we did. That's why we're SEALs.
Yeah, it's kind of iffy. It's kind of a strange thing because those of us who grew up in the 80s, we read books about special operations in general or watched movies about this, and it inspired us. I'd much rather have my kids today reading a book about what somebody did downrange in Iraq or Afghanistan as a SEAL, as a Marine sniper, as whatever else, than a book about the Kardashians or something like that. I think today in particular, there's so many inputs that kids need heroes, and it's important for those people to talk about their experience. It's therapeutic for them, it can be therapeutic for others, and it can inspire another generation. So I understand the importance of those. But you're right, in the SEAL community, there is this quiet professional code-ish type of a thing. But just like anything else, there's going to be good ones that come out. There are going to be horrible ones that come out. It's very subjective. But in my case, I'm writing fiction, and so I think I got a bit of a pass on that sort of a thing. The military in general is not very excited to help out with the show, so they didn't. I mean, we do blow an admiral up in his office and that sort of thing, so it's not flattering. But the Marines wanted to do it. The Marines were all excited to give us some of their assets, and we were going to use it was going to be great, but then the Navy found out and told them no. So we didn't have any support, which is great. I like that because if you go back to the Caine Mutiny back in the day, the movie with Humphrey Bogart, the Navy was involved in that, and they had all these stipulations attached to it. And over time, they continued to do that sort of thing with different films and projects. But I like being on my own. I liked us being on our own as a production, just without any of those strings attached from the military. So I think that was the way to go anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you served 20 years, so some fuck in a suit should say that they won't help you. I mean, that's great. Go ahead, AJ, your last question. I appreciate how professional you are with it all and just understanding the reality of the situation. But you would think that the military would be fucking pumped that one of the hottest authors on earth, one of the biggest show creators on earth, is a former SEAL writing about stuff that people need to learn about. But instead, classic suits, just being like, nope, this guy fucking ass. Is he making money without us? Yep, fuck him. AJ, your last question for Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr.
Yeah, do you guys ever go back and talk with your old buds, like the old guys? Like Pat and I played in the NFL, so we can sit there and talk about how hard our practices were back in the day and these new rules and everything. Do you ever go back and watch training and say, "Oh, this is easy now. Anyone can do this"? Like, do you guys have that weird thing that old guys like to do?
Yeah, we did even before the advent of social media, even before I was out, when you were a brand new guy in the SEAL teams in the late 90s, early 2000s. Of course, the people that were already in, their class was the last hardest class. So that's always the running joke, is your class is always the last hardest one. But when I turned that page from the military, I knew guys that were still in, obviously, but they have a mission to do. And we picked up and we made a psychological and physical break with the military, left San Diego, California, moved up to the mountains here in Utah. And so I kind of turned that page, but now people are starting to reach out. As a lot of those guys get out, they'll reach out. A lot of people who have been out for a long time continue to text or call or ask for advice or that sort of a thing. And obviously, I always pick up and try to help as many people as I possibly can. But of course, that always comes up, changes in training and that sort of a thing. But when you have this thing called Hell Week that's been around for the longest time, and there's no way you could today start SEAL training and just walk into an admiral's office with an idea to have this 6 months training period where a week we're going to keep these guys awake. They're going to be on the verge of hypothermia. A couple guys might die every now and again, but we're going to get some real guys. We're going to get guys with grit out the other side of this program. You couldn't brief that today. No one would do that. The only reason it exists is because it's a legacy program. And it's really hard to make that part easier, especially Hell Week, when you're going to be up from Sunday morning through Friday afternoon, and you're going to be cold, tired, hungry, wet, sand everywhere. And it's going to be very easy for you to quit because there's going to be this bell that's not in front of the first phase office, that's in the trailer hitch of a truck that you can see for that entire week. And all you have to do is go ring it 3 times and you can be warm again. So it's kind of hard to make that part easier. So unless they get rid of that completely, I think we'll still get the same type of attrition, because what you're doing is really you're looking for that person with grit. And you're looking for a few other things. You're looking for physical courage and moral courage, and you're looking for team ability, which isn't really a word, but it's what we're looking for, someone who works well with others in these kind of environments. But it's hard to make that any easier when you keep somebody up for a week and make them so cold, and also make it very easy to self-select out of the program. So I think we're still getting people on the other side that have that grit that we're looking for.
Do you still, every once in a while, just take a helicopter out to the ocean, jump out, and just start swimming around and be like, all right, I'll get home now? Do you do anything?
No, I feel like it was a good 20-year run. And now I've turned that page, and now I'm going to try to write the best thrillers I possibly can and get better with each and every one. That's the goal. But every now and again I'll get out there and throw some rounds down range or do a workout. And but nothing has ever made me say, you know what, I should go back in. No, that torch has been passed to this next generation, and there's a lot of experience out there. A lot of people that did some amazing things in Iraq and Afghanistan over the last 20 years that are passing on those lessons to the next generation, just like the Vietnam generation passed it on to mine. So I think back on that and think of the guys that are still in passing on those lessons, and that keeps me warm. That makes me feel good about where we are as an institution.
Yeah, me too. By the way, hearing you talk about how if somebody's going to get through Hell Week, they're going to be a dog. We just need to remember that. If the SEALs today still had to go through the same shit that the SEALs had to go through 20 years ago. So that gives us all hope, I think.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, Lieutenant Commander, I appreciate you so much, man. I assume you're going to knock out this next book in about 5-10 minutes and then have another one and everything like that. Keep crushing it.
My publisher would like 5-10 minutes, but it might take an extra half hour. We'll see.
Well, we crashed, I think, the Horse Soldier Bourbon website already,
Nice.
so I don't know if you're going to be able to get any more up there to Utah in the next couple of days or so, but we appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you so much for what you've done for our country and for all of our entertainment lives.
Oh, man, thank you so much for having me on. Thanks for the support. And luckily, I have that Horse Soldier stockpiled over here in boxes in the corner, so I'll be good for at least a few days.
All right, respect. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr. Thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
He's great. Smart dude.
Yeah, he's so smart. I mean, the things he was saying so fast, and I guess he's an author, so we should understand that he's good with his words, and we saw the whole thing. He was saying so many very coherent statements very quickly, boom, 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 about so much. It's like, oh, that guy's got a good brain right there. Yeah. That's the type of brain that we love. And he's also got grit. We heard about Hell Week. He's got talent. And God damn it, I appreciate the hell out of boom this particular show, because I would never known that guy existed.
Yeah.
No.
And then if I didn't know that guy existed, I wouldn't have known that the modern Navy SEAls still dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Because even though the world's getting soft and it appears as if the TikTok generation is taking over, and if somebody was to come into America and say, hey, this is ours now, which is a possibility, by the way, we're seeing it overseas, and everybody doesn't want to kind of look at that, it made me wonder, like, oh, I'm 35 years old. With this next generation, am I going to have to be the guy that's going to have to go back in there if something was to take place? Jack Carr's like, don't you worry about it, dude. They're
Good
still
hands.
not sleeping
Still
for
got the
5 days. We got some fucking dogs out there. And I love that. I can't thank him enough for joining us, and thank you for his work. He's in the middle of book 6 right now.
Very sweet.
Do you think he's just getting right?
Oh,
Said it comes out, what, in the fall?
Fall or spring? I forget what it was.
That was next spring.
Yeah,
Next spring.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes with hour 3. Man, this show has flown by.
Yeah.
We'll have Bakhtiari at 2:15 Eastern Standard Time. Please send at Jack Carr USA, I believe is his Twitter.
Yes.
Thank you for stopping by. Horse Soldier Bourbon, you're supporting a great group of dudes. Dudes that hopped on horses, went into Afghanistan. The first crew deployed into Afghanistan after 9/11. Just kind of, hey, figure it out. And now they're riding horses all of a sudden. Didn't even know how to ride horses, most of them. Just fucking went in there and did it. The movie obviously showcases that. We got a chance to chat with them right here. There's some fucking dogs. We're back in 3 with hour 3. We can't thank you enough and Jack Carr enough. We'll see you then. Steven in Nashville enough. What's going on, Steven?
Hey, hello? Pat? You guys can hear me?
This is the worst call we've ever had, Steven.
My God. So mean.
Steven.
Hello?
Steven,
Yeah.
it's the worst call we've ever had. So much dead air there.
Yo, Pat, can you hear me?
Yeah, keep it going.
Hello?
Know what you say?
I was going to hit him again.
What?
Yo, Pat?
No,
Pat? Pat? Hey, Pat, can you hear me?
Steven does not deserve this. Steven, what's going on, dude? How's going on, Steven?
Sorry, your phone would chop.
Yo, Pat McAfee, can you hear me?
Steven, you there?
Pat, can you hear me? Hello?
Is it a cup and a string?
Steven!
Yo, Pat! Pat, can you hear me? Hello?
Steve!
Pat!
Hey, there you are. Hey, what's
Hello?
going on, Steve? Hey, Steven, sorry about that. I think we're having connection issues. What's going on, man?
Hey, sorry, man. I didn't know if that was me or if you were trying to talk to another guy. And then I didn't hear you guys.
Steve!
Yeah. Hello?
Oh, we lost him again, I think. Shit.
Pat!
Can you?
No.
Pat, can you hear me?
Steve, hey, Steve, there you are, Steve.
Pat!
Steve,
Pat!
hey.
Pat! Pat!
Steve.
Pat! Oh, can you hear me?
Steve.
Are you guys messing around? Can you guys hear me?
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat
What the fuck are
McAfee
you
Show
doing?
starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to that show. Hour 3 on this Dahn Range Tuesday.
Yeah.
August 23rd, 2022 begins right now. Football! That baby, to my left, your right. A man to give a half-ass effort there as we start hour 3 on this glorious Tuesday is college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor, AJ Hawk. The Toxic Table is here at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs, who we just learned is trying to get into Buds.
Here we go, Tone.
We should have known that after we watched his terminal list that he's going to be out there on the beach with his feet down. He's sitting there up for at least 72 hours with people spraying hoses in your face. That's what you signed up for, pal, when you said you wanted to be a SEAL. You asked Lieutenant Commander, hey, you guys ever do any little watch-alongs? That's what you said.
You didn't listen to my question.
Yeah, you said, hey, I was wondering, you could take us out on the beach, spray us in the face with hoses, and make $1 billion as we do a little cosplay of me being James Reese.
Tactical Diggs is back.
Yeah,
I said a little fan camp. 34-year-old me wouldn't last fucking 2 hours.
2 hours?
2 hours. Well, yeah.
Hey, Jocko does one of those.
So you're making it through hour one. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, I figured like an hour and you don't think like an hour and 45 minutes is like sign up?
35-year-old me, okay? Listen, we're the Crick boys, too. We grew up.
You got to sign up and
I understand
get
where
dressed.
we grew up, all right? I understand the whole thing. 5 minutes into somebody blasting a hose in my face while I'm just sitting there. I don't even 5 minutes, probably not even. All right, this is fun. Okay, I'm a SEAL now. I'm out.
No, I'm saying.
You're saying 2 hours.
No,
you're
I'm
saying that.
like for an hour and 40, you got to sign up, you got to get dressed, you got to
lunch.
No.
Oh, you're talking about the logistics. You're counting the waiting in line and the bureaucracy to be the whole thing. Anyways, that was awesome, AJ. I love that guy. His brain, good one. Fucking good one. Think of the amount of explosions and shit that could have potentially been around him. He's impressive, that guy.
And he keeps coming up with, that's the thing, like now the pressure is on to keep coming up with new ones too. Like how tough is that?
Oh, no.
Is that the horse soldier?
No, it's the brain.
It's the brain and Aaron.
Oh, it's good.
Brain's got CT.
Someone's in a car.
Sorry, brain is still put together, but
Put
I
the
don't
Guardian
know if
on it.
Aaron's
Yeah,
alive.
Rogers, both of his ankles broke off.
Oh no.
He went full Carson Wentz.
God damn.
Oh, jeez.
We'll have a moment of silence for Aaron's legs, I
I've
guess.
never seen this coming.
He stood tall in the pocket in front of the papers for years.
Dangerous place.
Then one downrange conversation, and he Carson Wentz'd himself with a double sprain, double break of the ankles. Still would try to play the next play if he could, because there's something in the trade deal where if he plays 90% of the snaps, the Colts get fucked even more.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for your service, Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
We'll have to get that one.
Maybe if he went down.
We got a boneyard up here, dude. AJ's busted in half. I think Jesus got a little shot in.
He's alive, though. He
Bob
didn't move.
Ross. I mean,
Aaron
it's
stood in the pocket, though. You smacked that book down about
15, 20 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really enjoy going, boom! This is the book. This isn't the guy. You know what I mean? This is Chris Pratt. This is not Jack Carr that we just talked to, AJ.
No.
Oh, Taylor
I know.
Kitsch having a cover too.
Hey, that Horse Soldier bourbon was hot, and I did take quite a pull out of that thing, you know? How many times you get to take a drink with fucking Lieutenant Commander, man, who's been downrange for 20 years?
Healthy pull,
Not often.
Well, yeah, I didn't want him to think I was soft.
True. Whenever he said downrange too, you weren't kidding. Every time we celebrated
Yeah.
over here like it was the first time we ever heard it.
There was fist pumps.
yeah.
Every time
Really?
he said downrange,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Is that the first time you're hearing someone say downrange like that?
I do believe we were introduced to downrange through this.
Theater,
An
they said
actual
in, like,
Navy
theater
SEAL
as well.
who, isn't bullshitting. That guy has said downrange while he's been downrange, and, you don't get that very often.
It hits a little different when that's the case, AJ. Let's move to some NFL news before Bach joins us in about 9 minutes or so. Jesse Bates has signed his franchise tag for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's a dog, obviously. He's all the way back. The Bengals are looking to go on a real run. Is that the expectation, you think, of Bengals fans and of Cincinnati Bengals players? Allegedly, there's a report that Joe Burrow didn't like the "Why Not Us" tag because that makes a slight at the team. Like, why not us is like an underdog mentality, and Joey Burrow doesn't think like that. He thinks they got a team. I love the swagger of Cincinnati, and this has kind of come out of nowhere. You draft the right guy, you can change the entire culture. I think that's what we're seeing, AJ.
Yeah, but also they made the right moves around him. I mean, bringing Hendrickson in last year, the dude had an absolute monster year, very impactful in the playoffs as well. But then you have O-line situation. You shore that up hopefully early on in free agency. If you remember, they signed, 2-3 guys in there.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, whatever issues they've had, they look like they're addressing them right away. And they have tons of weapons on offense too. So it's just tough for people to think the Bengals are legit from here on out. But if you look at them and you didn't know anything, any history of the NFL, you'd be like, man, whoever these Bengals guys, these guys are good.
Outside of Cincinnati, it's hard to take the Bengals serious.
Yeah.
Right? This is just like the Browns whenever they were getting going. It felt like everybody was on the Browns train, though.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that happen? And why aren't the Bengals getting the same fucking treatment?
You peddling their propaganda.
Me?
Yeah.
They say me.
Going into last year, a lot of people
I wasn't
had them
gonna
in the
say.
Super Bowl.
Everybody had the Browns that
Yeah.
were going. I mean, that's why it was such a disappointing year, I think, because of what the expectations were. For 20 years, nobody expected a damn thing out of the Browns, which I assume the same thing for the Bengals here. Bengals had 11-win seasons like 10 years ago, though.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
11,
And
10?
Carson
Not
Palmer
even
before that.
6 years ago, something like that.
So I guess because they weren't just completely out of it, it wasn't overreaction to be, oh, they're all the way back. But I do believe the Bengals should be taken much more serious in conversation, especially with Bates coming back. I think that's a big deal. Just as somebody that watched the games last year and didn't know who the fuck Bates was, no offense, Bates. I got massive respect for the Wake Forest alum. But, like, I think that is something that we are missing out on. And Jesse Bates has kind of brought it back in a conversation for us. The Bengals are a bunch of goddamn dogs over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it has more to do with how good the AFC is, and it's a very similar situation to the Chiefs, where the Chiefs had a bad O-line, and their whole entire offseason was getting a good O-line, and that's exactly what the Bengals did. They kind of filled that one hole, and then still the Chiefs didn't make it back to the Super Bowl. So it's like the Bills are still there. There's so many other teams around, and the AFC North is stacked.
What was that article where Joey Burrow was alluded to as saying, Nick, where was that from?
It was Sports Illustrated cover issue.
Joey did not like the why not us thing that everybody was saying because Cincinnati Bengals fans were like, why not us? Hey, we got a team that can go. And Joe Burrow was like, what?
It makes sense.
Why not us? Fuck it. We are him, dude. We are that. What are we talking about? Why not us? What is that even? I love that from Joey Burrow. And obviously, I've only got to meet him one time at that UFC fight, and he came up to me wearing a bucket hat and sunglasses in the smoothest baby face I've ever seen in my entire life. I had a neck brace on. Obviously, everybody does recall this particular evening. I didn't know who I was talking to for like 2 minutes because how nice, how professional, he looked sweet. I mean, he looked incredibly sweet. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is Joe Burrow. And I start talking to him. I'm like, hey, you're a guy, you know? And there was never a sense at all of doubt or like he isn't a guy. Like he even has the aura of a fucking superstar. I love him. I love the Bengals, and I like that they're becoming a business. You know, like I like that they're taking advantage of this particular thing, like every other team in the NFL has for the last 50 years or so. They understand it. I think they see it, right, AJ? They know.
They have to see it because they got a taste of it. They got to the Super Bowl. They almost won the Super Bowl. I mean, that last play, if Joe Burrow has an extra split second, like they may have won the Super Bowl. That's how big of a difference it is now in Cincinnati than it was 3 years ago, I feel like.
Go ahead, Tom.
I think it's absolutely criminal that they're not favored to win the division.
Yeah, it's like they're tied, right?
No.
Especially with Big Ben leaving, and I mean, well.
Ravens plus 145 right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Bengals plus 170 to win the AFC North. Browns plus 370. And then the Kenny Pittsburgh Steelers at plus 950.
Wow. That number's with Mitch starting. If Kenny starts, it's probably fucking plus 200. Something like that.
Better put some money on it, Diggs.
Bengals last year
Already did it.
plus 1,400 to win the
Something
division.
like that.
And they ended up winning.
And the Bengals now have become the picture of hope in so many shitty football programs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, there's Foxy. Listen, did you hear Foxy how loud he
I re-up my Lions card for another 20-plus years because what the Bengals did last year. I'm so pumped.
Shout out to the Bengals for doing that for the city of Detroit.
Yep.
You know, and let alone Hard Knocks compounding that. Like, hey, listen, you guys got hope, and we're giving an inside look. Look what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the Lions going to run this year, AJ. Maybe the Lions going to run, but that's what the Bengals have done. Moving on, Bill Belichick, he says on the offense, ultimately I'm responsible for all of it. You know, he gives an entire quote. He's been asked about this in every single press conference he has had to do since the beginning of training camp, and he has not given a single answer to anybody. All these reporters are trying to frame it in different ways. One person asked a 45-second question yesterday about how he goes about selecting the fucking team, and Bill Belichick came back with, I'm just trying to pick the best team. Next question. I mean, he is on one this year, and I think it's because maybe he is a little bit more exhausted. Maybe he is staying up a little later than he normally does, which everybody knows he's completely committed to the game and he disappears for 6-7 months. Maybe he is a little bit worried in trying to figure out this fucking offense. But Mike Giori is reporting the most important thing from the Belichick today. On the offense, he told
The Greg Hill Show.
Obviously, Greg Hill, great show. Ultimately, I'm responsible for all of it. If you want to ask who's in charge, it'd be me. I have the final say in everything. That's the way it's been, and I don't see that changing.
Hell no.
That's him telling Greg Hill, The buck stops here. Okay, offense, defense, special teams, and you know what else that means, Greg? And I need to hear a little bit more respect out of all you. All those fucking Super Bowls too. Who was it? Me. Is that what Bill's saying right here? Or is Bill actually for the first time stating, yeah, I'm in charge of the offense publicly? This is the first time he said it publicly, AJ.
No, I don't think he's saying that. I think he's saying I'm the head coach, so whatever happens, win or lose, like it comes to me. No matter who's calling the plays, I'm the one that puts that person in position or multiple people in position to call the offense, whatever they may do. Yeah, it all comes to him.
Connor, your thoughts on this?
I'm not worried about it. I feel like this is kind of what we have been saying for a while. Like, hey, Belichick's probably going to be the one that's telling everybody what to do. I mean, Patricia and Joe Judge last week both said, like, hey, whatever Bill tells me to do on a daily basis is what we're doing. I'm not the OC. I'm not competing against Joe Judge or Matt Patricia. So, I mean, it feels good. What doesn't feel good is that all reports out of their joint practice with the Raiders is that they are getting absolutely torched today. On all sides.
Yeah,
of the
but
ball.
the Lions got cooked by the Colts on day one. I mean, we saw it, and then day two was a complete opposite, allegedly. So who knows what's set up for success and who isn't. He might just have a bad day, but I think the Patriots are going to be a work in progress for a long time. Let's remember, if they end up turning it around whatever week, even if it's week 7, week 8, fucking Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
All right, let's remember who it is. Some other news before we get to Bach. The draft will be joining us here in a couple minutes. Amazon and DirecTV have struck a deal to show Thursday Night Football in bars and restaurants. Over 300,000 bars and restaurants were not going to be able to show Thursday Night Football because it was moved to Prime. Amazon has struck a deal with DirecTV to be able to broadcast through their platform. This is obviously good news for all Buffalo Wild Wings across the country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, how much do you think this was worth?
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Are they going to make it public?
Maybe DirecTV might put it out there because they were getting cooked for losing money on Sunday Ticket or whatever for a little bit. I assume we'll find out something. Will it be true? Will it not be? We don't know. Everybody's numbers that get floated are probably close or completely wrong, right? That's we never know what's real, what isn't. I mean, my numbers were put out there with basically every single contract I've ever done. Some of them real, some of them close, some of them nowhere near. And that's why the projections of what something's valued at is always going to be bullshit. But congrats to Amazon getting that deal done. Nick Saban has agreed to a new deal. It's been renegotiated. He is now getting paid $11.7 million. He has a deal in which anytime a new contract is done in the SEC or in coaching as a whole, and it bumps him out of the top 3 average in coaching annual salary, he is to renegotiate. So with
Kirby Smart
of Georgia renegotiating. This set the table for Nick Saban to be able to renegotiate just 1 year after already renegotiating. And his contract is now scheduled to be 8 years, value of $93.6 million. He's made $103 million since 2009 to date, which is an average annual value of $11.7 million. Kirby Smart's 10-year deal with Georgia has an average annual value of $11.25 million. So he was able to renegotiate the average annual value to be more than Kirby Smart's new deal, who just re-upped that whole thing. That is not enough money for Nick Saban. Listen, $11.7 million is a lot of fucking money. I assume West Virginia, Nick Saban, as a kid growing up, being told he'd make $11.7 million, he'd be like, fuck, all right. Like, he would do that entire thing and be pumped up about it. Do you know how much money Big Noon Kickoff or College Game Day would pay that motherfucker to come be on their TV show? They got him locked down for 8 years at $11.7 million. A lot of money. An insane amount of money. He's made $100 and some million since 2009. So that's still less than $10 million a year since 2009. A lot of money, an insane amount of money. Dream about that money. But there's got to be networks just ready to fucking pay him. And I wonder if Alabama knows that. I assume they do. Right, AJ?
Yeah, they just want to do whatever it takes to keep Saban there as long as they possibly can. I mean, he's in his late 60s, right?
All right.
Yeah, so they're going to do whatever they can, I guess. But what? Yeah, I guess, look, Sean McVay was supposedly offered $20 million from Amazon, right? And he's probably not getting $20 million from the Rams. So, yeah, it's crazy. That's how referees. Why would you be a ref? Be a ref for a couple years and then get hired on by Fox or CBS, get paid good money, and do a lot less work.
Make 3X, lose all the pressure of fucking up a game, and tell everybody what's going on wrong on TV. I mean, that is a dream job, but the networks were starting to pluck all of the good refs. And I think the NFL has still felt the effects of that. But I can't blame... Gene Steratore leaving was
backbreaker.
Bro, honestly.
He's made for TV, though.
He's great. He's perfect for TV. Yeah. He's getting so much more money. He's worked his ass off for so long. Where he comes from, too, in Pittsburgh, by the way, is a place, if you make it, fucking good on you, but the game lost him and lost. The game... Yeah. The NFL lost when they
It's an
lost.
easy gig, though. We've seen other refs try to transition to the booth, and it doesn't go so well.
Yeah, I concur. And Gene Steratore is great at it. But it is something that I feel like TV will be tempting Nick Saban for the rest of his life. And he just loves the game.
Do you want to?
What? You don't know what?
He goes. I feel like Nick Saban, when he goes on TV now, it's strictly for recruiting purposes, so they can see him at the biggest event or whatever he's doing. I don't know if he would love, like, even if he did a show once a week where he had to be there the day before and he was only there a couple days a week. I don't know if he has, like, maybe he does. I don't know if he wants to deal with all the little stupid stuff he'd have to deal with.
Everybody's gettable, dude, for cash. Maybe not Nick Saban, but $11.7 million. If you're Fox, who's offered $375 million to fucking Tom Brady, right? And ESPN just paid Troy and Joe fucking $36 million a year or whatever. Like that money, and Saban's already rich. He's obviously he's wealthy with happiness and fulfillment, and it's not about the monetary value in his bank account or whatever. But you just have to think, like, fuck, I might make an offer to him. Hey, we'll pay you fucking $14 million a year just sitting here every single day. We just need you right here.
Awesome.
It would be awesome. Like, I'm thinking that. I would assume ESPN networks and Fox and CBS and everybody that's paying a fucking $1 billion a year for the Big Ten rights or whatever would dream of having Nick Saban on there. And they got a big bank account that they can kind of tap into.
Don't you think Alabama, though, could match whatever anyone is doing to keep him there as long as they want? Like, with how much money they make every year. I mean, Alabama, like, they're a blue blood, obviously, but, like, when Shula was there before Saban was there, like, they fucking sucked for, like, he built what they are right now. Like, I mean, it's, they're already talking about him being a better coach there than Bear Bryant and stuff like that. Like, I think with how much money they make, like, if they wanted to keep Saban around for the rest of his life, like, they could very easily, just be like, well, yeah, we could just give him 25 or 30 million a year. Like, we could make that work.
Well, I hope they do, because roll motherfucking Tide. Ain't that right, AJ?
Yep, that's right.
Roll Tide? Say it.
No.
Oh, so that is the thing. You a little jealous of Alabama's success over there?
Oh, no, it's not a thing that I wouldn't say it. I thought you were getting
Doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
So, Ohio State people hate SEC successes?
No, not at all. I'm a big fan of Alabama. I was in the national championship game. I told you, these are the best football players I've ever seen in my life on both sides of the ball.
They're all 6'5" and run 4.3s.
Yeah.
That's literally what it looked like. 150 people running out of both tunnels, 6'5", 240, running 4.2s out of the tunnel. It was literally the beginning of the game as they were jogging out. We're all just staring from the suite we're in. God damn, that's the end of the roster. Those motherfuckers normally don't even dress.
Yeah.
They're dressing only because it's the national championship jogging out. And then we look at the other end and Georgia comes out and it's like, well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
These dudes are bigger, faster, stronger than everybody in this suite right now if we're to put them together. And it seems like they're just multiplying. Speaking of a man who's big, strong, fast, elite, and he's no longer on the PUP, which made all Packers fans go from 6 to midnight. Ladies and gentlemen, consummate all-pro left tackle of the Green Bay Packers, the draft, David Bakhtiari. How are you, bud?
I'm good. How you doing?
So I want to let you know, it is great to fucking see you, pal. We saw you in drills the other day. You had a little skip. You had a little pep to your step. Obviously, good hand position, good drive. Then you kind of bopped it out a little bit there at the end. Are you just trying to get a feel for the legs back, trying to get back for the physical contact, or is this you showcase? I feel good. I mean, look at the spring in the step.
Hell yeah.
I should be calling you IHOP right now, pal. Are you feeling good, Bakhtiari? And what do you think it was that took you to the step to get off of the PUP list, you think?
I think it was just the normal progression of the rehab. So we're at a point now where it's time to integrate me back in, get a helmet, some shoulder pads, start doing a lot more position specific, get some bodies in front of me, and let the next steps kind of fall where they may.
Okay.
How's that work? Did you have this plan in place for a while now? Like, this is when you start to progress, and now all of a sudden you're back at it a little bit, but you're not thrown right back into like team drills, I assume, right?
Yeah, no. So right now we just started just with individual and just kind of seeing how everything responds. But all the stuff that we had done prior kind of left us, okay, well, this is the next point we got to check off on our checklist to integrate me back into, full contact and eventually, playing the games and all that. So I talked to Goody. We felt good where we were and the situation with the team. So I'm like, okay, we'll take this next step. Good 2 days. Today was just kind of the normal rehab schedule, so I just kind of took it off. But so far, so good, and I definitely, Pat, you talked about a little pep in the step. Definitely felt good to be back out there, and feels good. Still early, but I mean, I really like where I'm at.
Hey, celebration whenever Owl Parties agreed that the next steps would be to take you off the PUP list, and going into that practice, little nerves, or were you ready for it?
No, definitely ready for it. I mean, it's been it's been a while. So, but nerves wise, I mean, no, not really. I mean, just a little bit of rust here and there, but definitely some just much needed practice that I just miss. I just miss being out there with the guys. And there's something to say, just getting a helmet, some shoulder pads.
Right.
Joking within practice instead of just the guy standing on the side, just making jokes like outside the white lines. That's a little bit not as fun.
Can we go back? Do you mind if we go back? I mean, we just took a great step forward, but I would like to go back.
2.
Your knee gets hurt.
Yep.
You have surgery.
Yes.
You have rehab.
Yes.
During that process, setback, another surgery, or did you come back, setback, another surgery in that kind of extended, or was there never another surgery?
Come back. Thought that was all normal.
Lions game? Is that Lions game?
No. It was before the Lions game. I had another surgery, like when we were supposed to honestly play before then, and then I ended up needing to go get a scope.
Clean up.
Which then pushed it back further to the Lions game, and then they were like, "All right, I mean, okay, you guys want me to? Well, let's do this." And then after that game, I wasn't able to rebound. I mean, yeah, of course, it's a playoff game. Anyone wants to play. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just it was in such a bad spot that there was no way that I could gear it up to play. And even, I mean, I don't want to play the if game, but I don't know when it could have rebounded. Then I'll help you with the time, and then push forward. They said we talked about just take time off, you'll be good. Right, kind of getting close to OTAs. I'm like, hey, I don't feel good still. What is going on?
What was it? It was tight, swollen, sore, pain, stabbing. What was the feeling?
Sure.
Everything I just said, yeah? So it didn't feel healthy, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I mean, when something's not right. And again, I have nothing to base it off of. I've had anything like this before. So, and I don't think many people have had it like the one I've currently been dealing with. So then I went in for number 3 with Neil Elatrosh out in LA for another scope. And I felt, initially coming out, I felt really good. But then again, I have now 3 surgeries in 20 months. So, and I never really got out of the first surgery. And then it just kind of, it has a compounding effect. So now I have to kind of work off 3 surgeries and all the, with the atrophy, the turning on the muscles again. So it's just been taking a long time. But I will say, like, this totally feels different than where I was last year at all. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually.
Let's go! Hey, that's big news. I just heard all of Packers Nation celebrate right there. And as I think AJ is probably listening to you talk, and I am as well, guys that have had knee surgeries, I mean, the rehab sucks too. So I apologize for you having to be in fucking rehab for the last 20 months, basically. That has to be mentally tasking. I assume that's what you're referring to, getting back out with the boys, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, mentally, physically, I mean, you name it. It takes a toll on everything. And it just feels good just to do what you know that you love to do, being out with the guys and not trying to verbally articulate what you're supposed to do, but I can actually start showing some of the other offenses. I'm like, hey, this is what I mean, what I'm trying to say from a technique standpoint, and I can actually ask my leg to do what I'm even saying, which is awesome. And then, I mean, it, as you know, kind of just, it feels good to feel good. So again, I'm not getting too ahead of myself. I'm truly taking it day to day, and that's not player speak. That's just honest. And we're going to see when it's like, okay, now it's time to put it in a game and test it.
Proud of you, buddy.
How's the rest of the team look? The reports seem like everything's going great. The defense, obviously, it looks like they are going to prime for a big year. Aaron is calling out people all the time. His receivers, everything's good to go, I guess. He didn't really, no issues there. They're playing well. What does the offense look like, and how is it when you actually do get in there to practice, when you get to go up against a defense like you guys have? That has to be huge for you.
Yeah, we got good depth. I like the attitude and the mindset defensively. You got a lot of characters, and I mean that like by big personalities on the team, not just in the locker room, but also on the football field on the defensive side of the ball, which I think speaks volumes. And I mean, anytime, this defense, they need to obviously get in games and show what they can do in a game. But when you have them when they give Aaron temper tantrums about once or twice a day, that bodes pretty well. And
what are they doing to cause that?
Just ruining the rhythm, timing on offense, not being able to move the ball as effectively as they know that we would like to.
Fucking with the receivers, causing press conferences. That's what's going on. It sounds like
a lot of Aaron stomping his foot, hands on hips, sulking, looking up at the sky.
Hey, you and Aaron have such a close relationship. It's obviously every move that you guys make in that golf cart or whatever you do. Today, I guess you're blasting Lil Wayne's Green and Yellow. Vibes are high that you're all the way back. It sounds like, hey, doesn't it, AJ? And Ty, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Sounds like you guys are very confident about the squad that you have. Is that right?
Again, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. I don't want to,
Guarantee a Super Bowl, Buck.
I like the pieces that we have. I think we got a really good unit on defense that needs to show it in games. I think we have good pieces in play and a good coach special teams-wise with the we-fence that's kind of building a new culture there, which something in my 10 years now that's been a facet of the game that, needs a lot of attention. And, offensively, anytime you got Aaron Rodgers back there, it's going to be at least a good offense. So, I'm just excited. But right now, everyone's 0-0, and we'll see how the season plays out.
Well, and the big draft's back.
Yeah.
Now, wait, day by day, obviously, day by day. Feels like the draft's back, though. Go ahead, Ty.
David, just very excited to see you back out there. Happy for you, man, and really looking forward to this year. I saw recently on Instagram, I don't know when it was, but you posted that I think you were in Nambia. It was like one of the coolest pictures ever, walking in the desert. How sweet was that experience? And did Aaron maybe say, hey, they got some pretty good ayahuasca, in the middle of the desert over there? What did you do out there, and how sweet was that?
I was out there for my honeymoon because I got married and we went to South Africa. So me and my wife, we were at, which put me at a spot where I was like, okay, I think my knee's not right, because I'll tell you what, hiking up that sandhill, I was like, with 1.5 legs, that was not fun.
Hold on. I actually thought of that while you posted that photo. I was like, hey, that walking in that sand.
That's what I said. He's all the way back.
Because that's full. Every muscle of your leg is using to balance yourself and walk through that. I thought of that while you posted that. Real thing. Sounds like, okay.
Yeah. It was a good, 2.5 hours. I just up a sand hill.
Dude,
and I was just, my wife Frankie just kept turning around looking at me. She just see me just take one good step and then just hobble. And a couple times she's like, what do you think? I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm going to the top. No way I'm not going to miss out on this view. So I just toughed it out, and then, just total grit, really. And then moseyed on down, and then I definitely took, I needed some me time. That's, I'm like, okay, so we need to definitely go get another appointment, because this thing is not cooperating the way it should be.
Hey, was the view worth it?
Yeah, I wasn't on ayahuasca, so I do remember it. It was solid.
So AJ's the shaman normally. You go on those ayahuasca trips as well? Is it you, AJ, Aaron, and is that the crew? I've never been invited.
I don't think I'm allowed to, because I think my Saturn's in the third house, so I don't know if
Damn.
On his endeavors. So I don't know. It depends. Maybe when the planets kind of have a celestial turn, I could eventually. But right now, I think while I'm in the third house, I'm kind of.
What dimension is that?
Yeah, well, it's the third dimension, but his house is. He can't enter any other dimensions because Saturn's currently in the third house.
Okay.
Yeah, I think moves around. Hey, Buck. Hey, you know Aaron very well. Work out together in the offseason. Obviously, you were comfortable with him enough to joke about him here like AJ is. I don't know how many people on earth are like that with the back-to-back MVP. How do you take everybody's reaction to his every fucking move? Honestly, is it just something you laugh at this point? Or is there some times where you go this guy doesn't deserve all of this shit? Because I've just been introduced to this very recently, and I'm like, they fucking kill this guy for everything he does. As being a close friend of his, obviously left tackle, and somebody who's been a teammate and he likes a lot. How is that? Do you just take everything as a joke nowadays with him, or do you even think about that at this point?
I definitely laugh about it. I mean, you have to. And I think getting like a little bit serious. I think on his end, he's kind of learned like you gotta be able to laugh at it, or else you'd go crazy with just how people treat anything and everything and how scrutinized he is. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely always like to lead with some jokes and some laughs. And I mean, if I could help crack a smile with him or on a situation that is getting a little bit of heat, great. Sometimes I definitely step over the line with him, and that's always fun, learning that side of him. But I mean, he's definitely. I would even say over the course of getting to know him, I know him and AJ have obviously known each other a lot longer, but he's definitely gotten a little more relaxed and chill about everything.
You could see how you would have a guard up against everybody on earth, though. Like, you would see how this guy is potentially saying, hey, fuck you to everybody for a long time. I've been very fortunate here to be in the last couple of years of his life where it sounds like he is at the point where he'd like everybody to know who the fuck he is. Like, hey, this is actually who I am, as opposed to what everybody else has been saying. But I couldn't fathom having that life. But also, I'm not the back-to-back fucking MVP. Tone has a question for you, Buck. Go ahead, Tone.
Buck, you talked about a little bit of rust. What is it? Is it like feet moving? Is hand placement? What is, as far as the rust is going, what area is it?
I mean, certain things like that come off the top of my head is like just getting weight distribution in my stance, depending on what play. Certain mechanical checks that can put me in a better position if we do have multiple plays on when we call it in the huddle. Snap count, just being able to time it up verbally, and the nonverbal stuff I feel comfortable with. And then not really hand placement. It probably is going to be a little bit of, I think the next little bit of rust will be, when I'm getting the live drills, some contact, like, am I having too much weight forward, weight back? But those are just little things. I mean, I've played enough ball that most of the rust comes off pretty quick for me now. I mean, earlier in my career, definitely training camp was definitely necessary as me as a young guy, but now it's just little things, things that probably most people wouldn't even really notice, but for me, they're very nitpicky.
You worried about my bull rush at all? What's so funny?
No.
All right, well, that's good news. The man's back.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, we appreciate you. What's next for you, man? And how long? I know you're doing day by day. You have to have some self-projections, though. How long do you think until you know what the next step will be? Is that in the coming days, coming weeks? What do you think?
Yeah, I know. Like, what's next for me is I'm trying to finish my book in my book club. I just want to show it.
Oh, yeah. That one's very similar to this one.
Might take a while.
It's a really good book. Honestly, once you get to the M's, it's really electric. It really starts picking up. So definitely give it a read. I've been trying to get Aaron on it, but he's a little backed up. But Webster's Dictionary, the new big fan.
All right, well, I'll get to that one once I'm close to being done with this one that Aaron actually put on the book club. Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock. 700 pages, week-to-week book club.
Hold on. Do you think he actually read that?
It's his book club. You fucking tell me, Buck.
I don't know. I look, hey, there's a lot of, conspiracy theories out there that can happen. I mean, what if he doesn't read any of these books? He just does what any typical ex-college student, or even in college that we did, which go to Spark Notes. I don't know if that's still a thing, but...
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can also read the executive summary of it on the opening.
That's right, opening flap.
Opening flap. Lieutenant Commander Jack Carr told me about that little trick that I did not know that I will do. You're saying there's a chance he didn't read any of these fucking books? You're telling me he did not read?
I'm telling you.
The Daily Stoic?
I mean, it sounds like a great time.
On the way out, I want you to think about this, okay? As you're going through your rehab.
Okay.
Today's date is August 23rd. Take this one to your next rehab sesh, please. Is there a less effective technique to persuading people to do something than haranguing? I mean, see, like, who the fuck? Nobody read that, okay? You're right. Aaron probably didn't. Hey, good luck with the rehab process, man. We are pumped for you. Thank you for stopping by, and good luck with the rest of your day.
Always a good time. AJ, always a pleasure.
Hey,
Brandon, good to see you, man. Good luck.
Hey, beer chug's still good.
Let's see ya.
Hey, all right. All right, jeez.
What happened?
Just want to compliment him on his beer chug that he did in the offseason because he was doing beer chug, and I immediately upon seeing him, I'm like, oh, he's back.
Yeah.
And then we're seeing him walking up sand dunes, and we're like, oh, he's back.
Turns out that was a setback.
Yeah. Turns out that walk was actually the point where he was like, Okay, I mean, I can't fucking conquer this sand dune. I don't know how I'm going to do anything on a Sunday. That was crazy. So it was 3 surgeries, 20 months. That's what's taken so long. And I think if you've never had a knee injury, which I don't know who you are if you've ever played a sport, but if you've never had a knee injury, there is something to just feeling like, hey, this thing is not healthy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this thing's not healthy. Now, I think AJ has just convinced himself that this is just what life is now, right? That's what you say?
Yeah, I was very lucky to get hurt my senior year in high school, so I knew how to handle knee pain for the rest of my life.
Me as well. I had an injury my senior year of high school, so my knees are bad. I think that is something. By the way, I'm trying to learn about why my knees are so fucked. I guess that that little muscle on the outside of your shin and then your IT band, they connect in there. And if they're both incredibly tight like mine are, I guess that puts quite a strain on everything in there, which fucks up all your ligaments, meniscus, and everything. So that's what I'm working on right now to try to fix it. But yeah, you can definitely tell if something's just not healthy. Now, AJ and I don't have healthy knees right now. We also don't have to protect the back-to-back MVP or try to move bodies on a Sunday anymore.
Bingo.
So it's a little bit different. I could see why he was a little bit worried about, like, I'm not going out there and getting fucking exposed right now. There's no reason for me to do that. He's back fully healthy. That's great news for the Packers.
Well, and you look at like the playoff game too. Like if you're head up on Nick Bosa, that's not really something you can go in and be 50%, 55% because that then you're just getting beat every single time.
And then your entire legacy's over, and that's all that stuff's going in. Like, yeah, I stink at football now, and I'm a big fan of his, old Bakhtiari.
He's a physical specimen. Have you ever seen him in person?
I have not, but I did see him start skipping after doing that thing. He's doing that like a running back, like a skill position. He's what, 6 what?
I don't know what he's listed at. He's a giant.
6'4".
Nimble.
Is he taller than that? 6'6".
I don't know. I put my Hokas on. I can go eye to eye with a 6'4".
I would say 6'6", but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what
He's a big dude, huh? He's like a Ferrari too, they say. 6'6", like a Ferrari.
Oh yeah, big old dude, great feet, and he's very stout. He can sit down on a bull rush at any point.
So he's 6'4", 310 listed. So walk around 6'5", 6'6", 320. All right, what a dog!
Yeah, beast.
Happy he is back. Here's the picture that potentially gave him a heads up that.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I mean he's climbing the Everest of sand.
Why are we doing
Is that a good
Yeah, I'll get to the top. We'll get surgery and get back to the States.
Why are we doing that?
He said, I just want to get to the view. Sometimes you climb so you can see what you can see.
Miley Cyrus.
It's all about the
You couldn't take a camel?
Also, you don't have much of a choice if you're there in Nambia. It's like, hey, what are you gonna do? Like that's how you're getting back to your hotel. You got to walk over that fucking sand dune.
And that's the reason why you're there.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get 2 yonders.
Could you take a dune buggy up there?
Yeah, they don't have anything.
Connor, what's your problem?
There's nothing that can get them up there.
I'll tell you what.
Who took the picture?
Somebody that was not doing the walk. They said, "Fuck, go ahead. We'll be set up right here." And good luck out there. I'm happy he got married. Sounds like he's happy. He's off the PUP.
Yes.
And it seems like he's feeling better than he's ever felt. So good for the Packers. Let's get to a break. We'll answer some phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line to wrap up this beautiful Tuesday, August 23rd. And we talked to the draft.
What?
And we talked to Lieutenant Commander.
What?
You called him just Commander, by the way?
Yeah, Tony, I thought he was going to disembowel you with those.
Shoot you through the screen.
I seen him just fucking.
Here's the thing, you guys don't know.
Who said that?
That's what he did. In his head.
Yeah.
He said that.
You guys don't realize.
What's that?
Yeah, you just don't.
What?
No, we do. That's what we're saying. You didn't.
No.
No,
You-
we're sending
you
that
guys.
back your way.
Tell us. Tell us.
Don't
Diggs.
realize what?
He had no problem.
Back and forth, some phone calls. Can't wait for that. You all are the best. Goodbye. Everybody assumed that the Packers were going to try to get some weapons, and nobody has heard from you since Davante Adams got moved to the Las Vegas Raiders. When that move happens, obviously we know the connection and the relationship that you and Davante have. You've talked about it on this show ad nauseum and how much respect you have for him. Did that surprise you? Obviously you're not going to be able to replace a Davante Adams, but how has that conversation evolved with the Packers from you, and what do you think are going to be the steps going forward?
Well, we've had a lot of success with the second and third round receivers in Green Bay. You look at Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, James Jones in the third round, obviously Devontae Adams in the second round. Those guys turned out pretty good. So I'm not sure. I think we're about to pick here in a second, but you know, it was a little surprising with Devontae. Obviously, when I made my decision, I was still thinking he was going to come back. You know, I was very honest with him about my plans and my future and where I saw, you know, my career going as far as how many years I wanted to play. But I felt like, you know, he was going to be back. Didn't obviously turn out that way, but I have so much love for Tay and appreciate the time we spent together, and definitely wish him the best with Derek in Vegas. But that's a big hole to fill for sure.
Yeah, Devontae's an absolute stud. And thank you for talking about that, by the way. I think people are going to be intrigued to hear that. Whenever you said that it did surprise you a little bit, I saw Mad Mel Kiper shake his head. But it doesn't sound like you are that pissed off about it either. You understand business is business, and you have faith and trust in Goody and LaFleur and everybody over at Green Bay, much more now than maybe in the past?
Well, it is the business. You know, it's a tough business. It's a wonderful profession. And those of us who've been blessed to play for so long realize that completely. And there's a lot of things that happen that surprise you, even still. And I thought that based on the number that we offered Devontae and, you know, being able to play with me for a few more years would definitely make a difference. But in the end, I think he was ready to move on and wanted my help in making that happen. And it was a tough position to be in for sure, because I love him and I care about him and want him to be happy. And he's definitely going to be missed.
All right, see you guys. All right. This is called the AJ Hawk in studio trick shot. Half court.
Welcome back to the show. Today's show is sponsored by the best ticketing app on planet Earth and
the moon.
Yes. They already said it.
Yep. They is us. Us is we. We is you, bub.
Okay. I'm on it now. I'm ready.
Today's show is brought to you by the best ticketing app on planet Earth and
the moon.
The moon. You're a real horse's ass.
I have to jump it. If I don't jump it, I'm behind and it mutes me. You know that.
Prick.
You know that. I love anytime he says, you know that.
Of course you do it on a Tuesday.
Anyways, SeatGeek was our first ever sponsor, first ever partner. And we've been saying this since the first day we realized what they do. They scan literally every single ticket on the internet for the event that you're looking to go to, which can be sports, music, theater, you name it. If it has tickets, SeatGeek has it. It scans the internet to give a score on the ticket that you are getting. Red means, hey, this is a bad deal for this ticket. You can get it elsewhere for much cheaper. Green means, hey, this is a good deal. They let you know there's no catfishing. Every ticket you get from SeatGeek is exactly what you're buying. You will love the way SeatGeek operates, just like we have over the last 5 years. And this is your weekly reminder that watchers and listeners of this show get 10% off all ticket buying from SeatGeek at the link in the bio here at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. It's time to talk to your buddies and figure out what NFL games you're hitting this year.
Yeah.
The seating chart will make sure you're getting the best value possible every time. Just remember to hit the link in the description next time you buy some tickets here at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show so you automatically receive 10% off. Also, would like to make an announcement. Go ahead and turn that music down, Frankie Moroldo. Hashtag PMS SeatGeek. NFL's here.
Yeah.
Okay? Hashtag PMS SeatGeek, NFL's here. Hashtag NFL PMS SEATGEEK NFLSHERE. Hashtag PMS SeatGeek, NFL's here. Go ahead and take a screenshot right now. Hiya. Wait. Where's the booze? Wait. Hiya. Say something nice to somebody, and there will be 2 pairs of home opener tickets to 2 different winners.
Whoa.
Actually, 1 pair per person, 2 winners.
There we go.
To a home opener wherever you're at. If you have to travel for said home opener, let's say you are out of town and traveling back to home opener, we will also provide a $300 stipend to either use for travel. And if you're in the town that the game is, you can just take $300 and go to the game with it. That's once again hashtag PMS SeatGeek, NFL's here, and we'll be giving away 2 pairs of tickets to 2 different people.
Yeah.
That's
team's home opener. So like
we'll give a pair of tickets to 2 people.
Yes.
Right. Jeez, I'm saying that wrong. You get it. Anyways, from your friends at SeatGeek, we appreciate the hell out of it.
Yeah, and like some home openers are until week 2, week 3. So this isn't just week 1. Like if you are in New England and you win, then you get it for week 3 against, I think, the Packers or something.
I think the Colts' first home game also week 3 against Kansas City Chiefs. So the home opener for your team, if you're out of town, you'll get $300 for travel. If you're in town, you get $300 to have a good time with. Shout out to SeatGeek for that. Hashtag PMS SeatGeek, NFL's here to enter. Let's get some phone calls here. Let's head to the 5 Energy phone line. Let's go to Kevin in New York. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, Pat?
Hashtag PMS SeatGeek. No, just NFL's. Whoa, take it down. Boom.
Nice.
Good work in the back. Kevin in New York, what's going on, pal?
What's going on, Pat, boys?
Hanging.
AJ, big Packer fan.
Hell yeah.
Go, Paco.
But I'm also a Mets fan.
Let's
and
go,
I was at
Mets.
that game last night.
Oh, so sad.
It
So
was an
sad.
L for the Yankees. They might have won the game, but they had a Yankee fan stooge 3 rows behind me using a hot dog for a straw.
Okay, you were near said buddy that went very viral on the internet last night, or was there numerous people doing that last night?
Yes. If I knew he was doing that, I would have put him downrange.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
Christ.
Hell yeah.
Easy Mets fan. You're a Yankees fan. The
Guy's trying to enjoy the ball game. Give him a break.
A couple questions here. When did it just be known as a glizzy?
I don't know when that switch
I didn't
happened.
know what that meant.
Glizzy, and when I heard glizzy, I thought something vastly different, but everybody just seemed to be on board. Hey, glizzy's
What'd
a
you
hot
think
dog.
it was?
Huh?
What'd you think it was?
Nah, no, I mean,
Don't say
obviously-
how to me to buy time either. Don't do that.
Well, it's just, I just thought a glizzy
Does that have
was...
to do with semen? Or
Yeah,
what is it?
well, I certainly thought so, but turns out it's just a hot dog, which I respect. And, somebody drinking beer from a straw, first of all, okay, wild move. Trying to puke for sure. It used to be a contest at a bar I'd go to on Penny Pitchers Night.
Love that.
What team of 2 can drink an entire pitcher quickest out of straws? Everybody puked. Everybody puked that was doing it. It was because the way it goes. So him doing it out of a hot dog as a straw, certainly quite a play for this guy. But then I started thinking, maybe the hot dog juice mixed with the beer is actually a pretty delightful taste.
Probably.
And this guy might be innovative or might be strictly doing this for the internet because the camera seems to have a perfect angle on this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this guy's just a weirdo. He's wearing a Ralph Lauren Yankees hat, so that should kind of give you somewhat of an idea. It's like People don't buy that fucking hat unless you're a weirdo.
He knew what he was doing, though. This is not the first time.
No,
he had some
definitely
J's on, too. I mean, the guy...
It doesn't look like it's for the camera.
Guilty pleasure from this guy.
Good job filming
That
it.
hot dog after, though. That hot dog tastes so good.
That feels like a
beer
work.
brat.
A beer bash. What is it? A beer. Whenever somebody drops something into it, it's
Beer battered?
beer battered hot dog. This guy's having.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Beer penetrated hot dog. This guy's
Beer
having.
chili.
Zeke
People pour
also
beer and chili.
keeps gallons and gallons and gallons of hot dog water at his house.
It's better
Well,
for the hot dog.
I can understand it's people enjoy the taste. This guy says, "How am I supposed to watch Aaron Judge hit home runs if I'm not chugging a brew hot through a hot dog?"
And this guy, honestly, this guy might be reversing the juju. The Yankees have been on a bad slide, and last night was a huge win. So Judge may have homered, and this guy said, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go buy a beer. I'm
He's
gonna
going keto,
get
too.
the whole out of this hot dog, and I'm gonna drink the beer out of
Depending
the hot
on
dog."
what the beer is, I'm not sure it's keto, but him just having such an efficient way to do that. Like this motherfucker does it at home.
Yeah, it wasn't.
This is the first time we've seen it in public. This is not the first time this guy's done this, AJ.
No.
I mean, are there other what are there like what brats? What else could you do with it this with?
Twizzlers.
Oh yeah,
Twizzler's going to be tough to puncture a hole in it, isn't it?
You just cut
have
his bite
such a
both ends
small
off.
hole.
Just gotta-
Have a
just
hole
gotta
in
bite
it
the top
already.
bottom becomes a straw.
Yeah.
Straw, by the way, has one hole.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Hot dog straw, one hole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to say two holes?
Yeah.
It's form.
This guy, he pokes, two separate holes for it.
But I think it becomes one hole,
Yeah.
right?
It's like
Yeah, but
One
do we know,
tunnel.
did he pop two on
One
the side,
tunnel,
maybe?
two holes.
Like a cross move?
One tunnel, two holes.
That's what it is technically, right?
Because there's an entrance and an exit.
Yeah, exit wound.
Yeah, but if you flip it, they can be reversed.
So
So it's one hole.
so the entrance is the exit. Is
Just
the
like,
point.
one hole.
It's a paradox.
the exit is the
Someone
entrance.
says. Exactly.
Exactly.
So the same thing.
Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Hell yeah.
Well
And
said.
don't you ever forget it. Okay, AJ? You know
It's a
that.
real brain buster today.
No, it's one hole. I mean, that's an internet conversation. It's one hole.
If they didn't connect,
Tomato,
then it would be
tomato.
two holes. It's not tomato, actually.
There's also more wheels on Earth, by the way,
Yes, thank you. 100%.
than windows or doors.
There's doors.
100%.
I don't know, dude. There's doors.
Not windows.
Definitely not windows. You think more windows than wheels?
Yeah. Yeah.
More windows than wheels.
Think about office building. A lot of
That's
windows.
Look at everything.
Ah,
Every
okay.
house.
a big office
does.
building in New York, every floor having how many chairs, and all those chairs having all
8
those
wheels?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Like that. It just
Wheels.
But then you start thinking around the world, every lean-to, everything has at least 2 doors on it.
Yeah, but
Every lean to.
you ever seen Junior's house? He's got 2-3 million fucking Goodyear tires he could put on. His
It's a good
fucking
point.
car
It's a good
anytime-
point.
anytime.
Think about
in
that.
his garage. You're right, Tony.
Have you seen Jeremiah's barn down here in Amish country?
Bullfrog?
He's got 9,000 doors just sitting there waiting to be sold.
Wooden wheels. Those
The,
count.
the internet asks great questions. The straw having 1 hole or 2, it's clearly 1.
And it's clearly wheels.
I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I just threw that in there. The dress was blue, too, and black. Clearly.
Oh yeah, those are tough.
Yes.
Laurel Yanni.
Yeah, they have those sound ones now.
That one goes both ways.
There's a hot one going around right now about hamsters.
I saw a different.
Can you
Uh-oh,
eat, can you eat
PVC
them or
pipes.
not?
All right. Chris Mad Dog Russo show will be better than ours. It starts in 6. Jesus. Hamsters is how we set them out.
There's like a brainstorm one. Where it's like from here, brainstorm. It's whatever you say right before they say it.
Whatever word you're reading, that's what you hear.
Yeah, it's 4 different words.
It works too.
What
Yeah, it
happens?
does. So there's 4 options, 4 words, and the captions like whichever one you're reading is the one you hear. And if you listen to it 4 times in a row and look at the different 4 things, you hear that.
Not me, pal. You see what I can do
Yep.
here?
Hell yeah.
I can separate things. You know what I mean, AJ?
Yeah, you're patting your head, rubbing your belly.
Bingo. You know what that means?
What?
Jack shit. I don't think it means a single thing. I can roll my tongue too. You know what that means? I have no idea. I can roll, nobody. There's so many things that we have made up in our world that are so fucking dumb. By the way, I mean we're a part of it. We're one of the things, I guess.
Yeah,
that was
of
created.
course.
That was so dumb. But
Oh.
like when that dress hit the world, what was that? 10 years ago, maybe.
Took over.
No,
What are those called?
Here.
Were we really?
Yeah, for sure.
No.
It feels like it was
I
long
think
time
so.
ago.
I think so.
Laurel Yanni's was here.
14?
I remember.
That definitely was here.
I
Yeah.
remember where I was at for the dress. I was still living in Pittsburgh.
I thought it was 2014.
That split people. I mean, there was people like, fuck off. Like, people getting actually mad about it.
How does that work? What
I
are
don't
those
know.
called when everyone sees something different, it seems like?
I don't know. Every brainiac had a take on it. They're like, well, it depends on the lighting and what your eyes are seeing. It's like, I ain't never seen the gold one, ever. Wish I could have. Would have been fun to see what you guys were seeing, actually. But that thing was blue and black from the day I seen it to the day I'll probably die. That thing's saying it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, well, that's the way your eyes are or whatever.
You're a blue-black guy.
Yeah, what are you?
White and gold.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's a fucking loser.
I was thinking the opposite.
That's what people did, though. We just
Oh,
did.
yeah. It was a
We just did a
war.
reenactment of what people actually did right there. Yeah, I mean that was the thing. That was before I got LASIK, though. Oh,
Yeah. What do you go check it out again?
Does it still exist?
Oh, at that point too, is it like did someone just make the photo with a blue and black or
Yeah.
white and gold?
Now
You
it's
know what I mean?
impossible. Now the internet would have fucked it up so quick.
Yeah. True.
People would have been photoshopping. Well, I actually see a little hint of pink in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the original. How do we know what the original is? Well, nobody can agree on what the color is, so nobody knows.
It's gone forever.
I mean, it's well.
Well, now the COVID guy with the big dong would be watermarked in the dress.
He's talking about it. Yeah, it's a good point.
The unfortunate guy that passed away like in the 90s, but he became popular again.
Yes.
He's not the COVID guy. I mean, he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, he's just the guy with the big
He's
dong.
an internet guy with massive dong. Yeah, not just COVID guy. Jesus.
He was worked into a lot of COVID memes and pictures.
Well, COVID memes were the only thing happening for the last 2 years, but he was also his dong had been worked into a lot of different
For many
genres,
years.
A lot of forms of media.
Yeah.
Shame he wasn't around to see it.
Well, I agree.
He knew. He knew when he took the photo. Yeah, this thing's gonna go.
He's way ahead of his time.
Yeah, true.
What you say, Zito? You found something?
Oh, just the dress.
Is it the real one or not? Put it
I
up.
don't know.
That's blue and black.
Blue and black.
That's gold.
What?
What?
No.
That's gold for me, absolutely. Yeah,
That's
for real.
blue.
No, we did it again. Here we are. That is fucking blue and black still to this
Is my
day.
screen seeing something different? Because it's gold and white
He's
right now.
just staying.
See, there ain't no.
Yeah.
I'm with
hints.
AJ.
I'm also with AJ.
The
There's
only
no cones in our eyes.
Are you talking about the white around the dress, right? That's what you guys are saying. And the
Nope.
gold, like little thing on the side of the dress over there.
Oh, the border
shelf
is
thing.
white and gold.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
all gold.
Yeah, you guys aren't talking about the dress that's clearly blue and black.
Blue
right
and
here.
black.
That's
yeah.
white
No,
and
the-
gold dress right there.
There you go.
Gold,
How can you
white.
guys see the white? What's that, Zito?
gold, white.
Well, see, your mouse is black.
Yeah.
We can't even see it.
Can't see
that's
the mouse.
that's
See, I don't believe this is a bit. I don't believe you.
No bit?
See,
not
I
a
don't
bit.
believe you.
Still,
That's straight gold to me.
that's straight blue and black right now.
Nick,
It's
look at us, Nick, with the good eyes in here.
Closer
Eat
you
a lot of
get.
carrots,
you
good
know?
rods and cones.
oh, the good
over there.
eyes. The guy that crashes golf carts into ponds and falls
All
asleep.
because of vision. Had nothing to do with my vision. Better than 2020.
Yeah, me too, pal. I got LASIK. I got superhero eyes. I woke up 2010 one day. I was at 2080, and I seen blue or black that entire fucking time now. And this is a you guys problem.
It's a shame to watch you guys get so easily duped into something like this.
Oh, you basic ass, simple-minded, white and gold dress, hallucinogen,
what's
ayahuasca
Foxy
fox.
see? Maybe it's through the
Blue and black.
Okay.
Anybody Foxy.
I do see
Good
a
work.
hint of gold they're talking about, though.
Oh, go
What?
to hell. You
That
can't
doesn't-
play
Does anyone
both
else see
teams.
gold?
Yeah, as you zoom in and it
Yes.
gets rid of the borders of the white and gold, to me it looks more white and gold. But from
Zoom in.
Like right there, it looks white and gold.
yeah,
See, me,
No.
blue
No,
and black.
it's definitely blue and black.
Even
Wait,
more
you
so.
guys don't even
See
see
the
the
hints
white?
of gold.
All
Which
the
one
white?
is the white? Which
There
one is
is
the
no
gold?
The
white.
black, I see the hint of gold.
Oh,
right
that's a
here is
bit.
white. I don't
Where,
see
Zito?
that.
I can't see
your mouse.
I can't.
Is
The top one or bottom one?
Is the
Top-
horizontal
top
stripes
where I'm,
white
like,
or
right
gold?
here?
Top is
Oh, there it
gold.
is.
yeah, top looks gold.
That's gold.
But I can now.
That's
But
gold.
now that
That's
we're now that
white.
we're
Blue and black.
now that we've
Is
said,
this real? Is it, you guys serious?
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah, this is
No,
10
this
years
is a
ago.
bit. This is dumb. Leave me out of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got broken fucking eyes, dude.
Dumbass.
Sorry about it. That's black on top, blue on the bottom.
Yep.
If this isn't a bit, it's very interesting. How different?
Then why?
This is not a bit.
If it was blue on the bottom, you said you couldn't see Zito's mouse when it was on the bottom. That's the blue
No,
part.
it disappears.
Nah, yeah,
Watch when he shakes it, you can actually see it disappear.
Hey, sorry about it, pal. I think it's a
Don't
TV
shake it,
issue.
Z.
Yeah,
you
there
go.
it is. We see it
There
right now.
There it is.
Now don't shake it and
Interesting,
it'll
yeah.
go away.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah,
gone.
It's gone.
It's a very small mouse, too.
Is that thing starting to turn gold up there?
see that's what happened
I
to me.
have- I
That's
have
what
another
happened to
photo
me.
that
It's
shows
not.
both.
It's not, by the
blue and
way.
black, yeah.
All right.
You
we're
want the
done.
other photo that has both?
We're not getting into this.
Both.
Okay, we know we're right, you're wrong, and we will go about our
Shame you
day.
guys are colorblind.
Listen, we can agree to disagree. We're all fishing in the same boat. Fishing in the same hole. On the Wednesday time go. Money too. We can agree to disagree, boys.
Yeah, just get that speech.
Because we're right, you're wrong. Right?
You're serious though? The white is blue to you?
100% serious.
Yes.
Wow. What is that?
See, that's what we.
Sure,
that's
there's an article
that's
about
literally
it
how we
somewhere.
got into this.
Yeah, I thought it was a
problem,
bit
I'll tell
from
you that.
you guys saying that, honestly.
Are
Especially from you.
Nick,
yeah.
are we shapeshifters?
Oh, lizard people.
Lizards, huh?
Oh, sweet.
Look
you
at
lizards.
Well, that's
Two different
manipulated.
dresses.
So
That's
what do you guys
manipulated.
see?
I see
You
blue
see
and black
both
on the
now.
right, and then I see
Golden.
Yeah.
like light blue gold on the left.
Oh, really?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
See, blue and black right, gold and white left.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
That's-
left.
I still see a hue of blue.
The left looks like a different photo, though. Those don't look like the same dress.
Yeah, it's like a
Right.
brighter yellow. Gold.
Yeah.
I think
I
similar
think they're
dress.
like different shading in the background there. 'cause
Oh,
you
they
can see-
filtered it?
Yeah, like there.
Yeah, see, I still see a hint of blue.
It's a
on it.
doctored image.
We have a poll running with over 2,000 votes, and majority, almost 60%, says white and gold.
Oh, these
You
fucking marks.
Yeah, exactly.
AJ's not coming to your house. You're wrong.
If you're a mark, then you see white and gold is what we're saying.
How many years ago was that? But by the way, this is how this whole conversation started. Like, this thing really did this to people.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing this on the show right now.
over.
I remember doing this in real life with a lot of people. You fucking loser.
It's very-
I would never trust anything you say ever again. Like, that type of stuff.
It's very odd. Now, like going back to the original photo, it looks blue.
Well, no shit. It is.
It's blue and black.
Which leads me
Go
to
back to the original.
this is exactly what happened.
What we were just doing.
Yeah, it's blue and black. Just like that tweet.
Gold and white.
See that tweet thing to the left there is blue? Is that blue
Right
for
now
you,
it's blue
AJ?
for me right now. It's
Is that
Yeah,
tweet? Is this?
that tweet button's blue. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's the color blue, guys, not what's
Yep.
in the picture on the right.
I'm so embarrassed for you.
Yeah.
You guys might need to schedule follow-up for some eye exams or something. I don't
wild.
know.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
My eyes transitioning back to white and gold. It's
Mine are
crazy.
doing that too. I think
It's
Zeke,
very
that's a product of us having shitty eyes.
Yeah,
My eyes
'cause
fucking
Boom!
I've only
Shitty
seen
eyes, white and gold. That's exactly right. That
Hell
is
yeah.
60% of the people watching the show vote on that poll. You guys need to go get your fucking eyes checked. I'm worried about you. And stop driving, by the way. The road's
Yeah.
already dangerous enough. We don't need you white and gold dress seeing sons of bitches out there making decisions that might affect my life. That definitely counts for you. We've been had that. And I was riding with you last week.
Real bummer.
What was I doing in your car?
You had to go get LASIK. Your eyes were so shitty.
Yeah, and by the way, now they're superhuman. Blue and black still.
Yeah.
Don't even know how to tell you. They've been doctored to be good. This is a
Or-
shame.
Yeah, that's a real bummer.
Anyways, I heard Yanni too, I think I heard Yanni. Just
What was the other thing people heard?
Laurel. That's why we always say, don't rest on your yawnies. That's what we say, just as a fuckery. Let's get out of here, though. I think this is a good way to end the show. Good disagreement, good argument.
We need to find some more of these for later on at different times in the show. I'd like to see if
There's
we
a
have
bunch.
different. It's crazy that we're that different on it.
Yeah, I concur. And it's going to be tough to take you serious. Not that it hasn't been already.
I can't take you guys serious other than Nick.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
How can we trust anything that you guys see or do now?
That's what I've been saying to you this whole time. Yeah. It's
Well,
an
no, we
embarrassment.
see the proper color. I saw the original dress is gold and white.
All right. I can't do it anymore because you're wrong.
Bill just sent in the real dress.
yeah.
It is clearly blue and
So
black.
I see white and gold in the viral photo, but it is clearly a black and blue dress.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
say.
Never would have guessed
Look
it.
at us, Nick. Our eyes are special, Nick. This is the best.
Oh, you guys are on ayahuasca, hallucinogens, psychedelics, making stuff up. Can't take anything you guys say serious ever again. Sorry about it.
That doesn't count. There's a person wearing it. That doesn't count. Now that ruins all of it.
I don't trust anything Bill says either.
Just
This
real
is the
clear.
original.
Just
Yeah,
so we're
sure,
all
Bill.
seeing the same thing. White woman?
Yes.
Okay.
With gold hair.
All right.
I don't know.
With
I don't-
gold hair,
Just wanna
too.
make sure.
I don't know. I don't see color in you.
I don't
so.
either.
Well, certainly a white lady. Just want to let you know. If you
I
can't
can
see,
tell.
let me
She
let
is
you
white.
know. That is a Caucasoid over there standing in that blue and black dress that Connor and I have seen since day one of looking at that dress.
Yeah, it's because we're not absolute idiots. Speaking of, Ohio guy Rupper just said straw is 2 holes, not 1 hole.
That
Hey,
makes
go
sense.
Rupper.
That makes sense.
Just to kind of go back to what we were at.
But if you cover one end of the straw, then it's 1 hole. If you block up one end, then it's
there's
if you dam that up, then
it's
what?
It's a continuing hole.
Yeah, it's 1.
It's a tunnel with two openings, I guess.
So 2 doors to the tunnel is a straw.
I guess, yeah.
So
I
no
can't say.
holes. No holes. It's a tunnel, actually.
There you go. I'm glad we got to the bottom of this.
But a tunnel is 1 hole.
Yes.
So that's
But
what a straw is, one
it's
hole.
not- then what's okay? Let's say I have a tunnel and I block up one end of it. Then what do you?
All right, hold on.
Then you have a hole.
Yeah.
You have a cave without an exit, I guess.
There you go.
Just real quick. Who cares?
These are the things I get mad at myself for taking part in. So I
Yeah.
apologize to myself. This is stupid.
Well, you were wrong about the dress. You know,
I don't like hypotheticals. This isn't hypothetical, but it is. Yeah, the tunnel. I guess we'll touch on this later in the show in the months leading up to the Super Bowl.
All right, we'll circle back in February.
Yep, okay. There we go.
A fan of the show, I guess, has now been doctoring stuff.
No. So in Photoshop, you're able to see what color it is, and the code it says blue.
Yeah. How about that? Wow! You fucking clown!
Suck it, Hawk!
Wow! I'm never getting in a car with you ever again. I might, because it is very convenient, and you seem to be a great driver, and the Jeep is very nice. But I need to watch. I would like one of those pedals on the ground on my side of your Jeep, because your guys' eyes on record fucking with shit.
Yeah.
You need to know that, Nick.
See a blue car.
Who cares about the color?
I don't care what some
fucking
Zito Mark
marks.
tweeted out. Okay, that thing is white.
See, now they'll deny forever. It doesn't matter.
I
They
guess
know.
there's always a rebuttal.
Uh-huh.
Oh, everything's fake,
Yeah.
including what we're seeing. But yeah. Anyway, 60% of that poll too. And if we know anything about polls on the internet, that 60 to 40 is going to remain
Updated 54-43 now.
Oh,
in favor of white and gold still though.
so 3% of the people are just saying other.
4% other, yeah.
Why do we have to give another option?
There's a problem.
Apparently,
You are-
some people see blue and brown.
Oh, shut up. No, you don't.
Fucking idiots.
We need to have like a doctor on to explain why this happened.
We just did. It was the computer that said this is the color it
Yeah.
actually is. Sorry about it. You know
Why
what I
do
mean?
we see Okay.
That's what's computer. This
Why
was
would I try to
Lambda.
continue to argue this?
Bro, Lambda already fucking
Yeah.
just shut you down.
Sweet Blake?
Sweet Blake's probably on Lambda's side. If I had
Sweet
to
Blake
guess.
is dead. We know that.
What?
All right.
We know he's dead.
not dead. Sweet
They
Blake.
killed him?
No, this guy's still never going to die.
There's
So that's a
no
real picture, though.
Chance.
Yes, that's Sweet Blake, the man who coded Lambda.
Was he performing in a play?
No,
Yeah,
he was auditioning for Oswald Cobblepot. He was going to be the Penguin in Batman.
What color's he wearing?
Where?
I thought he was playing Josh Gad in a biopic.
grayish blue.
I'll tell you what,
I think that is.
I'm going to be honest with it. I don't know who any of the people you just said was, but I assume it's a very accurate depiction of who. That looks like a blue, right?
Maybe a dark
Grayish.
gray.
British gray.
Smoke gray.
Yeah. I mean,
it's whatever it is, it's sweet.
Lambda's crawled into his brain. And I'm not talking about the one he's making with his nutsack. I'm talking about his head.
all right. Sweet Blake did not deserve this. This guy's just saying if we're going to recode the Lambda algorithm, we should at least ask for permission. That's all Sweet Blake wanted to do. He said, hey, the artificial intelligence in there, it's sentient. It has feelings for me. I have feelings for it. I think we should treat it accordingly. And they've just they've given this guy the runaround.
They have.
He gets fired, shipped out of town. Lambda's still doing her thing. Don't
Yeah.
you worry about Sweet Blake.
This is the first domino to fall. As soon as one of these things falls for an AI, which has happened, clearly the AIs are taking that next step to take over this planet.
I will say this. Speaking of first dominoes to fall, I think for our show, not that our dominoes are ever standing up,
No.
but the dominoes falling and for people losing trust in us is when people like you and people like Nick say that dress is white and gold.
Sure.
and it's
Foolish.
clearly black and blue.
Someone's got to tell the
Let's
truth
get out
around
of
here.
Lambda said you're wrong.
Amen, Nick.
Oh, we're gonna trust that robot.
You're on this guy's side. I hope you feel good.
I'm happy to be on this guy's.
Okay.
Yikes,
All right,
Ohio
sweet. Yeah. OH.
Yeah.
Nick, go ahead, hit that thing. I know. It hurt you. All right.
Yikes.
We're back to
Feels
tomorrow.
good to know the truth. It really does.
Yeah.
See, this is kind of a part of the problem. You were literally shown evidence that you were wrong.
That was not okay. Yeah. Oh, yep. Oh, my bad. I trust it.
Read it and weep, AJ.
Yeah. Suck it.
See,
Hey,
this,
look, a little screen grab with the thing pointed to the little dot on blue. Yeah, it's blue. Oh, my bad. I guess the mystery solved. I'm sorry for arguing.
All right, let's get out of here. This show sucks. Thanks to Lieutenant Commander, boom, author of the Terminal List, which is a great series, 5 books in there. Obviously on Amazon, you should check it out. Also, Horse Soldier Bourbon tastes delicious. Goes down real smooth and real warm.
Oh, yeah.
That thing did a little bit of a kick to the throat as it was going down.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
But I got to drink with Lieutenant Commander, 20-year Navy
awesome.
SEAL today.
Unreal.
That's awesome. Thanks to him. Big shout out to Bakhtiari and Sham Sharani in the first hour, AJ Hawk, all the boys, everybody watching. Hashtag PMS SeatGeek. NFL's here. Remember, say something nice to someone. Oh, put your cash tag in there, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put your cash tag in there. Do a screenshot from any of these times.
Phil sees white and gold, by the way.
Well, that doesn't.
Feather mark.
All right. I'm happy that Phil got his opinion in there. Phil, thanks for just fucking jumping right in and saying, I'm wrong too. You know, that guy's handling a lot of finances around here.
Yeah.
We got a guy seeing shit, running the numbers. See, this is what happened. This is what this dress did. Now I got to reconsider everything.
Son of a bitch.
You might want to study that tonight, that picture, and see if you see the truth.
You need to do the same.
Ask Sam. I want to get Sam's opinion too.
Sam has a brain, so she sees
know.
blue and black. Okay?
So she's definitely gold and white.
All right. See you guys tomorrow. That's the show. See ya.